Hey everyone, thanks again for joining the Ret-Con-Artists. This episode of the RMSS Catatonic, the crew are really going to sink their claws into something wonderful and terrifying at the same time. Hold on to your butts. This is going to get even weirder. Enjoy the episode. You got like the second half of it in there, so it's perfect. It was still censored.
Unt.
He was saying fun.
Okay.
Yes.
Punt, as in what you do with a ball. Or a hand egg in football for you Americans.
Hello, everyone.
Hand egg?
Yeah.
Hand egg.
There's football and there's hand egg. There's no such thing as soccer. Hello, everyone. We are the Ret-Con-Artists. Say hi.
Today we're going to be talking about sports and how I don't know anything about them.
I was about to say, I don't know sports. What are you talking about?
You obviously know what Quidditch is. That's a sport, kind of.
Man, it's a terrible sport when you think about it.
You're a Slytherin, right? Or Ravenclaw?
Who?
Ruthie.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to say, listen, man, you should be shocked I know that one thing about Harry Potter. That and he's a wizard.
You're
I'm
a
a
lizard,
what?
Harry.
Oh my goodness. Alright, so who wants to do a recap of 2 weeks ago? Holy cow.
Once upon a time, Bjorn convinced everyone to let him watch over the princess.
With someone's help.
And it
someone's
happened,
help.
and the end.
That's what happened.
And whose help was it?
Tim?
Yes!
It was Tim.
It was always Tim all along.
One of the
Tim's looking
smaller
up.
people.
So my character
Yeah,
sheet
all
was
of you
blank
are
for the
small.
last 45 seconds, and I couldn't figure out why.
It was loading for the last 45 seconds?
No, it was blank.
Oh, that would have been terrifying.
Yeah, that was the look of panic that I had.
Did you just open a second sheet, perchance?
No, it's my antivirus. It's like, I don't like anything.
Yeah.
What
Except
antivirus are you-
Tarkar's fine, but everything else, meh.
What antivirus program are you using?
Avast.
Oh,
Avast
are
ye
you
hearty.
using Windows 10? Hello.
He's nodding. Oh, he doesn't have the
Oh.
call up. He's just going by voice right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm looking for the pop-up thing for the. There it is. That and get rid of Avast. You don't need it because Windows 10's I mean, it's fine. If you want a secondary,
Defender is no.
just buy a copy of Malwarebytes, man. It's like $20.
There you go. Because malware bites.
Anyway, we're here for D&D.
I know. I was like, wait a second.
All right, for D&D. Welcome back. Now that you all have that quick tech lesson and advertisement for Malwarebytes, please. We're not sponsored by Malwarebytes, but
Not
if you're
sponsored
watching,
yet. Come and find us, Malware Bites. We're obviously
Malware bites.
yeah.
or Doritos, of course. All right, so let's go through a little more in-depth recap. Y'all had some freaky shit going on in your minds. Y'all. You found holes in the floor, holes in the what's up?
I was gonna say, didn't it end with like some flower on an invisible? All we saw is a face, and it's like,
Yeah, basically. But before all that, you all had some really confusing shit happen, including what you guys may or may not have gone back and rewatched for those of you who weren't a part of that part when you had your earmuffs, but when you had the sound eliminating spell. Oh my god. Why can I not think of the name of the freaking spell?
Silence.
Silence. Thank you. For some reason I wanted to say Zone of Truth or Zone of Silence, but
Is he
yeah.
outside of the zone of truth? Yes.
We're gonna be fine. Yes. So
wait,
anyhow,
I need the cone of silence.
The cone.
so within that ball of silence that happened, thankfully to Arthur, some crazy stuff happened. Tarvok attacked some unknown thing, destroyed it basically in a semi non-combat shredding of horror and arrows.
Was it bowless archery or actual archery?
It was full-on bowed archery.
It was incredibly irate archery.
Yeah, to
Irate.
something that really wasn't able to defend itself. So
Great. That sounds great. I still haven't listened to that yet.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
no,
gone
what
back
happened?
either.
I didn't think you
Oh,
guys
this
would.
is news to me.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Well,
It's fine.
it's fine. Everything's fine.
We'll wait till the end of the arc to go revisit that. So we,
Yes.
in character, don't break the fourth wall. No meta.
Yes, and I think it's very possible that you guys could reach it by the end of Tynate if you really powered through, but I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen.
I know what Tim was talking about. We put flour on the invisible monster. I thought we were talking about flowers, like the plant. So I was like, what?
Nope.
No, okay. Gone.
Sorry, I did have, I don't know why this updated the title wrong. It took the title from my own channel.
Are your brainwaves inspired?
It's weird because it took the title from my own channel and copied it into the Ret-Con-Artists Twitch for some reason.
What do you
So
do?
explain how that happens. I don't freaking know.
Did you update your drivers?
You
What have you
would.
changed?
Yeah, what are your settings?
I love you
So-
guys so much.
Just as an FYI, guys, since a lot of you didn't hear what was going on
User
when
error.
Max and I were in that silence bubble, you really should go back and figure out just how much damage Tarvok can do.
It's
Because
disgusting.
if I ever decide on turning on you guys, none of you are gonna make it.
What about me?
You
No,
have
you'll
to see me first.
You
You'll
have
die.
to hit my
Oh.
AC first.
I'll hit it. And Tim, my AOE. If you're in the general vicinity, you dead, boy.
Tides of Chaos, go!
It was pretty disgusting. Then again, to be
It was
fair,
awesome though.
I let Tarvok have 2 rounds of combat because this thing literally could not come back to defend against you. So,
It was so much fun.
and it wasn't even really combat. It was just you attacking something out of combat. All right. So that happened. Something got shredded. You guys found holes in the floor. Tim scared the crap out of a little girl, as he tends to do. What else? You guys met the massive mechanical beast inside the royal quarters that was protecting them. What else? You talk to Lieutenant Tuchable about having Bjorn placed in the royal quarters. You then all regroup downstairs where that hole into the cold storage was. Bjorn kicked a sack of potatoes, realized that Bjorn could not reach the sack of potatoes properly, and then poofed a bunch of flour on something that was not there, but is now there. And what we last remember seeing is...
I scream security!
Is the massive length of who knows what, about 6 inches, 7 inches in diameter, and then the strange humanoid-like face with massive jaws and massive teeth on the end of it, laying underneath that flower silhouette. And then Bjorn screamed,
Security!
There we go. So that's exactly where we're gonna pick off right now. You guys remember where you are. I'm going to leave it to you. Bjorn, you have yelled for security. They haven't shown up yet. Is there anything you guys want to do from the start?
Yell again?
Okay.
Security?
Tim's kind of just gonna look at everybody and go, oh shit, what the?
Whoa.
Wow, hold on. Lost
Sleepy
my
boy.
voice. What is that?
Yeah. What is that?
Well, I was hoping you could tell me.
Me? My foot's on it, but I don't know what it is. If I remember right, I made Bjorn still has his foot in the air because that's where we were supposed to throw the flower. My foot is still touching it.
Yeah.
Do you think I should hit it?
I mean, it's only like an outline of a flower cloud, right? Like
It's definitely something tangible that was not visible initially until you guys dumped the flour on it.
We should put flour over the entire How much flour do these people have?
There is 6 sacks of flour in there, and that's it. I don't think it's enough to cover the entire
Motley
ship.
Crue came through and partied here.
I'm glad that you had to think about that answer for a moment.
You're welcome. Hey, I have the whole manifest of all the cargo in front of me. No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
I was about to geez.
Unnecessary. Yeah, no, there's not enough flour to cover the entire ship, unfortunately.
What if I have them grate a lot of cheese?
Maybe, but I still only think that might only get the upper deck.
Okay.
lol.
I have nothing to say until the security guys get here.
Okay.
Unless Vera wants to scan it with magic.
I mean, that's what I was thinking, but
Tim's gonna casually poke the face with the end of his cane.
Okay. Where are you poking it specifically on the face?
Board where he can see what appears to be a nose.
It's more of a bump than anything. It doesn't look like a human nose, but it's more of like a think Voldemort kind of thing.
Yeah, that vicinity.
Yeah.
Where the nose would be.
Okay. Yeah, you poke it in the nose area, and it just kind of like flops, and you see the jaw just kind of flop around a little bit.
Whatever it is, I don't think it's alive. The voice is back.
Oh, good. Well, at least it's not alive.
and this seems like just an end of it. We should probably find the base. It looks like it's going down.
I hope that this isn't a creature that's powering the ship. Or, even worse, I hope it's not eating what's powering the ship.
It's
Whatever
a
that
that's
thing,
true.
It's just a fart ghost.
I mean, I'm just saying, weirder things have happened.
Pretty sure it's held in place, or we're being held up by just a alchemical process. So no need to worry.
Worries intensifies.
More worrying.
All right, so where are you guys all kind of positioned in this room? I mean, you know that you all are kind of towards the one aft section of this cold storage. So are you guys still kind of all gathered around the door there? Because I remember saying that you guys go through the doors into the cold storage and you turn left, and that's basically where that hole above that kind of led out towards the tank, and then there was the hole that led up into the salami fridge. So there's those two holes, and then just directly below that is this long neck creature thing, and then the potatoes. Like, you guys turn left and it's right there. So how are you guys situated right now?
Well, I am next to the potatoes with my foot in the creature.
Correct.
And Tim kind of failed at throwing the flower, but it still made the impact.
Okay.
So, and if he's close enough to poke it in the face.
Okay, so you're probably a little further into the room, but next to Bjorn. I'm gonna guess the rest of you are kind of like gathered around in a little cluster by that door, looking at it.
I was gonna go inspect the like where it goes with the hole and whatnot,
Okay.
or like finding out where we should, go if anywhere else.
Sure. Yeah. Roll me a quick insight check. I guess it doesn't have to be very high.
Let's. Oh yeah, it's a 15.
Okay. So, judging by the positioning of whatever this creature is, and the holes that are kind of up in the corner of the ceiling of the cold room here, and then that goes into the galley and then across to the tank, you seem to deduce that it came in through the cold storage wall up high and then immediately turned up and went through the floor of the galley into that refrigerator, and might have been chomping on stuff in the refrigerator from what it seemed.
So where? Okay, I'm trying to imagine this. So like we are in cold storage, which
Yes.
is like next to the kitchen.
So
Kitchen is above.
Or
now that I'm
above the
thinking about it,
kitchen,
you weren't in the sphere of silence that had been there before when Tarvok did his major attacking. This seems to be the thing that he would have been attacking.
right?
Because he was right
yeah.
outside the cold storage when he was doing it. So the piece that you
Wait,
see
do we remember
inside.
that now?
Well, I'm just saying that the end of this thing is like shredded and destroyed. Like
Right.
the non-head
And-
end, it looks like it's destroyed. So it's not like going in.
So maybe I'm. So cold storage is where the huge gas like holding things are.
Outside
Or
of
is
cold
this just-
storage. If you check the map.
Yeah,
I thought we were
don't-
below
I don't
the
have
cold
them.
storage.
Yeah, I
So-
don't have the map.
No, you're
front
in
of
the
me,
cold
but-
storage. You're below
with
the
the-
galley.
With the way that he explained cold storage before is where some of the gases come down. This thing was, again, meta, obviously feeding or something along the lines of that. When you use your insight check to check that, like where it's going, all you see is shredded meat. You don't know why it's dead, but you
Right.
can see that.
I'm trying to figure out where we are
Sure.
and where it is. This is this the end of it? I guess.
Yes, it would be the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
So
I'm
I will
confused.
pull open the map here. So
No,
where the fridge was in the galley, in the corner of the galley. And then you guys took the stairs down into cold storage, where this thing basically was eating through. So it was like in here, eating through the floor into the fridge. And then when you guys went down there, it seems to have fallen back through the hole from the fridge after whatever happened to it. And then there's another hole in the wall of cold storage that leads out towards the tanks.
Uh-huh.
and this is where the tanks were that you guys were messing with.
Oh, okay.
that
That's
makes
why
sense.
I was confused.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for the tank.
Yes. So the tank is here, and that's where Dimitri Cote had put his like seal on what appeared to be a hole in the top of the tank after everything had happened with the silent sphere.
And you said that is where it's like was coming from.
It appeared to be. Not to meta too much. I'm just trying not to meta there, but yeah, essentially.
Wasn't that what he rolled for?
That is what caused the hole.
That's what I'm trying.
Yeah.
That's what
That's-
I was asking to roll for.
Yeah. So that seems to be where it has come from. Yeah.
Okay. So we should open up tank 2. That's is my conclusion, I guess.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm gonna go over there and like actually investigate it.
The tank itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's been tampered with or
Sure.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Roll me an investigation check.
Nice. I rolled a 1.
Oh god. You for the life of you, for some reason, looking at this tank, can't seem to figure out exactly how it works. You kind of stand there and go, "Yep, looks like it can hold fuel." That's about it.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, that's
Alright.
all I got for now, I guess.
Okay. Anyone else?
I am Alex right now. According to Hobo.
Oh, really?
Oh.
You are truly
I
correct.
know that was probably really, really
That was
bizarre
really
to hear
confusing.
at first. Sorry, I should have explained better.
I am
Just
proud
to,
of you.
Yeah, just to start. I'm
Fair.
Alex.
Perfect. All right.
I'm
So,
Alex now. And we will adopt you.
all right. So,
I mean, in that case, I'm a smash.
Bjorn
I
Smash.
promise, Bjorn's not that hard to play.
All right. So as you guys are all kind of standing there investigating, you hear a bunch of footsteps running, and Lieutenant Tuchable comes barreling down into cold storage with 2 of his guys behind him, and he sees you all standing there next to a bunch of spilled flour and goes, "May I ask what you're doing here?"
I'm gonna point to my foot, and I'm gonna tell him, "Do you see what's in the flour?"
He looks down at your feet and, "Oh, that is this some sort
This
of
is
beef
what?
Wellington?
Wellington?
Beef Wellington, or what is this?"
It's invisible unless you throw flour on it.
Please, come on. What are you talking about? And he seems to be in a better mood than he was before.
I am suspicious.
God, this person is happy. I'm suspicious.
He attacked MC, so I am now suspicious of him. I do not know his intention.
Okay. Well, he did just ask, "What are you talking about? Why you
There's
said
a
that?"
face, right? There's a face to this thing. Is he not reacting to the fact that there's this giant invisible thing with a face?
Well, yeah, it's creepy looking, but I mean, what
This
is
was
it?
on
Have
your
you been
ship? It's
crafting?
invisible.
How is it invisible? I can see it right there.
You threw
Somebody's
flour on
been
it
having
to
some
make it
mimosas.
visible.
Oh. Okay, and
Have
he
you
kind of
never
like
searched for invisible things before?
he kicks some of the flour away, and it does kind of make it look a little more translucent, but flour tends to stick to things a little bit, so it's still quite there. He says, "Oh yeah, are you feeling okay? What is this? Is this alive, dead? What is it?"
We don't know.
Okay.
But there might be more of them. And we don't know if they're hostile.
Tim is slowly starting to hit this thing in the face harder.
It's just like as you hit harder and harder, it's just like slowly crunching in. And you can kind of see its nose area is kind of caving in a little bit as you're breaking things. It's definitely dead. And T'Challa a little bit, he just kind of like puts his hand over your arm. He goes, "Just, that's gross. Please stop doing that."
I don't know what it is.
Well, neither do I. I will have my men look at it. Is this kind of what it did?
Yes.
This is disturbing. Is
also believe
Dimitri
it has
here?
Things it will do. I believe that it does bad things to people's brains. Wow, that was really eloquently worded.
You're right, it was. Thank you for your astute observation. Is
The
Dimitri
reason
here?
why-
This needs to be patched up.
Dimitri?
The maintenance fella?
The Khajiit.
Oh, the
The-
cat man.
He's got clothes. Have you seen him?
He should be around here, right?
Okay.
Is he dead?
Arthur, where have you been?
What?
Arthur's still tipsy
Isn't
on
Arthur
mimosa.
still drunk?
He
Arthur's
must-
got his arms crossed, and he's like looking the opposite direction. He's just kind of staring.
Tarbog, what are you doing in all of this? Hello?
Actually, wait, I'm gonna look. Arthur looks to where Dimitri last was, which was on top of the tank. Is he up there?
He has finished adhering that patch to the top of the tank. He had one of his guys actually hop up there afterwards and hold down on the seal just to keep it going.
Okay, where'd he go?
You don't see him immediately by the tanks there.
I'm suspicious.
I didn't see where he went though. I mean, I was part of the whole.
Were you in the cold storage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there the whole time.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have seen Dimitri because he's outside the room there. Like the tanks are outside of cold storage. They're next to it, but they're outside those walls.
No, that's what I was talking about earlier. Is like we were next to the tanks, and apparently there's a cold storage unit that is separate. We were not like we thought it was just one big room.
Right.
Yeah, I was up
Yeah, I
there
know.
when he had me attach it, and then I came down
Yeah.
and watched him attach it.
Yeah.
Then
And
Arthur's
that's
not
where
in
I
the same
am.
room as us.
And that's where I
Okay.
am.
Oh, I thought you said you were in the same room as these guys.
I don't know I don't understand.
I thought he
what
was. My
happened,
bad.
I thought he
So
was
then-
too.
I
Never
don't
mind.
understand what happened.
So I didn't see that Ret-Con.
Okay. So
The
you
tanks are very close to us, right outside the door.
yes, you guys
There he
haven't
is.
seen exactly where Dimitri has gone. That's basically all. He's gone to do something, but you haven't seen where he went exactly.
So they're like on a floor below us.
No, you're all on the same
It's
floor.
on the same floor.
Do you have
The
the map?
tanks
We were
are
in the
just
kitchen.
outside the tanks are outside cold storage. Cold
Are you-
storage is right below the kitchen.
I feel like Alex is
So-
messing with me now.
I'm bad with maps.
But I
would
remember
there
a
be
very
flour
different
in cold
description 2
storage?
weeks ago. That's why I'm confused.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks.
So Arthur was staring
I thought I was
at
with
Sir
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Yeah, but I guess he's gone.
Okay.
And I didn't see where he went. So I guess I'm
Okay.
now wondering why I didn't see where he went. So Arthur's really confused as to why he didn't notice this guy leave.
Right, and I thought you were in cold storage, so he would have. But since now you're telling me you weren't in cold storage, I can retcon that. You have been standing out there while they've been in cold storage, and one of Dimitri's guys at one point, while you were with him, came up and pulled him away for something urgent, it seemed. He kind of went back towards the engine area, around the side of the tanks. So he's not quite in line of sight of you right now. But he's close by, near the engines, from what you saw him go to.
Okay, so my assumption is he went towards the engines and that
Yeah.
was it. So whatever the timeline is, once Dimitri got pulled away, I would have went to go by everybody else then.
Okay, that makes
whether
sense.
that's like arriving now or at some point, a few minutes ago, whatever. But yeah, okay.
Oh,
That makes-
Tim could have yelled Arthur, and he'd be like, "What? I'm coming in here." Jeez.
Yeah, I was just walking in the door. So Arthur
Sure.
walks in and he just goes, "What?"
All right.
Where have you been?
It was with the cat man. Dimitri is his name.
We need the Catman.
Well, you could have told me that earlier. And Arthur just kind of like spins around and goes back to go get the Catman.
Okay.
So Arthur's gonna meander over to the engines and try and find him.
Okay, sounds good.
Fear's gonna follow because I'm next to the tank and I see him walking.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys go back towards the engine area, and as you kind of scoot backwards, almost near the very, very end there, kind of tucked in between the two engines, you see Dimitri crouch down over something, and he's just like working furiously, and he's got one of his guys standing next to him, and his guy has this super concerned look on his face. And as you guys get closer to Dimitri, you see that he's not working on the engine. Actually, he's working on somebody laying there in a small pool of blood. Yeah, and he's working to bandage this guy's arm, and you see one of his arms is actually, it's missing at about halfway up his forearm, and then the other one is bleeding as well, but it's still intact, but it's bleeding from down the forearm. Dimitri's working on making a makeshift tourniquet on his left arm that is basically cut off almost to the elbow. And then the other arm, you see a butt ton of lacerations up his forearm. And then on the ground next to him, you see a small utility knife laying next to this guy with blood all over it.
Veer's going to immediately grab the talk coin that we now possess and try and contact Bjorn.
Okay.
And be like, Bjorn, there's a man bleeding back here in the engines. Hurry.
And then I poke it, and I'm like, I am on my way!
All right.
Hold it away from me.
And in
And
mere
now
seconds...
I am sprinting to somewhere, because I don't know where we're at.
The engines. So in mere seconds, you make it to the engines, and you see the same sight that these I was gonna say two guys, but this man and woman have discovered, and this man
I am
bleeding
a
on the ground.
lady, sir.
It is ma'am.
Okay,
Tarvok
we're going to-
and Tim and Arthur. Well, you guys, sorry, just before, are you guys just kind of hanging in cold storage right now, or what do you want to do?
Oh, I would have told them before I left. Someone is hurt and I am needed elsewhere. I will be right back.
Okay.
And then I'll sprint out the door with...
I'm by the engines.
Okay. Oh yes, sorry. I
I
don't know
went
why I
there
said you.
originally.
I'm sorry. My brain is not
Like-
firing right now. Jesus.
Where
All right,
am
someone
I?
fix my engines. You are by the engines. All right, Tarvok and Tim, what do you guys want to do? Tarvok.
Tarvok is too preoccupied trying to focus on seeing if he can recall the information that he may have learned in the past as to what this might be.
Okay.
What he's staring at, this awkward, invisible yet clearly visible flowery mound of flesh.
Yeah, you do definitely get a very faint sense of familiarity with it. And you do recall that moment when you suddenly just felt strange, like as if you lost like 5 to 10 minutes. So
since I'm now getting these washed feelings, I want to, again, I have a very, we're going to say studious past when it comes to hunting, and it's not just small game that he's hunted in the past. So if you don't mind, I'm going to roll a history check really quick.
Sure.
If it's high enough, I'm going to keep that information to myself, so you can just, if I hit it, just DM me the knowledge, and then I can tell everybody else.
Okay.
Or so on and so forth.
Okay.
So I got a 15. I don't have anything in history.
Okay.
You don't have proficiency or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Or is that only with your stone cutting stuff?
That's a different skill altogether.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I will send you kind of what you assume about this here really quick.
Cool. And that's really all I'm doing until I can get a better grasp of what I'm looking at. So if Tim wants to go ahead and do something.
Tim's looking for something to eat.
Okay. There's a bunch of flour
He made
in
his
front of
points. He saw the thing, and he is hungry.
Hey, yo, it happens.
Veer's gonna sit down and start casting detect magic just in case.
Okay.
Arthur's gonna ask Dimitri what happened.
All right.
And I will use my level 1 spell slot to use heal the fucking Jesus, this text is so small. Cure wounds probably. Yeef.
Okay.
Level 1 for cure wounds.
Okay. Does that leave scars?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a level 1 healing spell, so I don't think it's gonna like regrow limbs or anything.
Yeah, I think the only healing spells that regenerate stuff say it in the actual.
Yeah, the only other one I have is Prayer of Healing, but that's just it heals for a higher amount.
Okay. Sure. All right. So you use cure wounds
and it heals for 1d8.
1d8. Okay.
That is not the d8 I need. I think 2, and I think it's my spell casting modifier, right?
Okay.
So 2 plus freaking wisdom. Hold on. 2 plus 3, 5.
Okay. You do your motions and cast your spell over this guy. Arthur's asking what happened. As you do, you see his arm, the lacerations start to seal up, leaving very gross-looking scars on his forearm, and the end of his arm also seals over a bit. It's very, very ragged still, like it definitely needs some time to heal. But he's not losing blood anymore. And he's still breathing, thankfully, this gentleman, but he's very out of it.
Do they have an infirmary?
Yes, they do. It's actually in security as well.
I'm taking this man to the infirmary. They can gather the information. I will say that. Get what happened. I'm going to take this man to the infirmary.
Okay. As you're saying that, Dimitri already was kind of getting into his story of I don't know, this Boris, he found Pavel just sitting here and bleeding, and we don't know what happened. There's nothing around, and it looks like he's cut his own arm somehow, and he was just bleeding. So I combat kicked in and I tried to help. But yes, if you want to take him to the infirmary, please.
Okay. Out I go.
Okay.
Y'all can figure it out.
Wait, I'm gonna yell after Bjorn. Bjorn, come right back.
Don't worry, I will return after I check on the princess.
Shopping list of things to do. This is urgent. All right, Arthur. You have asked Dimitri. He has responded. What do you want to do with that info?
Oh wait, can I also make sure? I want to yell at them if they find out anything important. Just use the talking coin.
That's fair.
Hit me up on the old iPhone.
Just like, give me a walkie on the talkie.
Okay.
Start looking around, like
Yeah,
with
Arthur
that
picks up the dagger.
blood? What like is the blood localized in this?
All right. Roll me again an investigation check, please. Right. Again, this isn't a very difficult thing to put together.
9.
From what you can tell, the blood has pooled there over a very short period of time after being dragged from near the tank that you guys were initially at. The one with the hole in it. So it starts in between the two tanks, more towards the engine side, and then it kind of seems to drag towards where his final resting place was, and that's where it started to pool up. As for the blood on the utility knife, it's he's got a handprint on it, so from what it looks like is he was using this utility knife on himself.
Well, if the blood is coming from the tank, or he was dragged, away from the tank, I guess I'll follow that and look at it again. Hopefully, like I'm just gonna try and take as much time as possible to find something weird about this tank, if there is, or I don't know. I kind of have the feeling that at this point Vera would be like, this is clearly where things are originating from.
Yeah, absolutely. You follow the trail of blood to the tank, and you can see there's some tools kind of laying there as if somebody had been working on this tank and maybe trying to investigate what's going on with it since before you guys knew that there was an issue with it. And they seem to have just been kind of scattered about a little bit. And that's kind of where the blood starts. And then retracing the trail backwards, it seems like the blood got heavier as he was moving away from the tank to his final resting spot, and then the worst when he was in his final spot. And there's a bit of, I'll add to it, sorry, there's a bit of spray kind of down by his left side from where he was resting. Almost as if that's where his arm finally got torn off. Or possibly bitten off.
Okay. Are there any holes in the tank?
Just the one in the top.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If there's a hole in it, I'm going to turn Eco into a hand and sort of feel around, reach inside.
So you're gonna take the seal off the hole that Dimitri put there?
Oh, so that's what I was.
Yeah, that's the only hole that was.
So there is not a hole because there's a patch on it.
Correct. Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, there's a hole that's been fixed.
Right.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna undo the patch. So, I guess there's things there's tubes, there's things like that, right?
Yep.
There has to be a release valve somewhere. I'm gonna like
a shut-off valve?
Or no, like it's going in one way and it's going out another, supposedly.
Right. Okay.
So I'm gonna look for that tubing and try and, I don't know, take note of it or look. I'm trying to get in the tank.
Yeah, no, I get you. Okay. Dimitri wanders over to you while you're kind of looking at the tank, and he's kind of wiping his hands with a rag after getting all the blood off. He turns to you and he says, "My dear, are you looking for Anything in particular? This is very strange happenings. What can I help you? And you relay that, I will say.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, just to.
Well, it's. I mean, I can act out a little.
Sure.
It's. There's clearly something going on with this tank in particular, but I mean, obviously, I don't know what is going on or how to get in it. I need some help with that, but I think that whatever is causing these problems might be in here or something is here.
Interesting. Yes. I will. 1 second, and he kind of like snaps to his one guy that was there, and he says, in a language you've never heard before, I'm gonna assume is probably Tabaxi. He talks to him, and this guy takes off. He's another Tabaxi, and he takes off, and he goes into the cold storage area. You just see him kind of disappear through the doors, and he turns to you and he says, I'm having Pavel turn off the hose and reroute it into the other tank. It's going to be a little overpressure, but it should be empty in a short time, and we should be able to open up the side of it and see what's going on.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
I guess I'll wait for that to happen, and
Okay.
I'll go back over to where Arthur is.
Okay, over by the engines there.
And sort of let him know what's happening, and we should and then like wait for Bjorn to get back.
Okay, Tarbok and Tim, what are you guys doing in the meantime?
I mean, if Tim found food, I'm assuming he sat down and he's kind of munching.
You found a sack of apples.
Sack
Cool.
of apples.
Tim's favorite.
Tarbok is just trying to put 2 and 2 together as to
Tim's
How this
eating
got
an
here.
apple, staring at Tarbok, trying to figure out what he's thinking. It's just like,
that's all. He's just trying to figure out how this got here, realistically.
Okay.
So
All right. We will cut over to Bjorn. You have rushed up to the security area with this Tabaxi gentleman in your arms. His orange coat is covered in blood.
It's probably
And-
very weird to have such a tall man sprinting with another man who's bloody, but that's
Bjorn
okay.
kicks open the
Yes.
door, save the kitty.
Various
Nice.
patrons in the hallways as you run out are
I'm gonna be yelling,
quite-
"Please move out of the way! Medical emergency!" As I
yes.
scream.
And you hear
Bee-woo!
you hear various murmurs of, oh my lord, oh, is he okay? And yeah, and you eventually get to the guard room, and on the complete opposite side of the room from where those holding cells were is a small medical bay, kind of cordoned off with a little bit of a curtain situation there. And as you walk in there, all the guards kind of make way for you, and they usher you over to the medical bed, and one of the 2 medical beds that are there. And you place this Tabaxi gentleman down on the bed, and he's still stable for the most part. And a couple of the medic guards kind of get to work on him and start checking on his arm, making sure everything's okay, taking his temperature, his pulse, stuff like that. Just checking his vitals.
I'm gonna boop walking.
Okay.
Like, hey, Vera, what'd you find
Yeah.
out?
Not much.
I meant, how did he get injured?
I'm still not sure. We should, but you should hurry back here because I'm trying to get into that tank and it might have something in it.
Don't open the tank until I get there. No use in getting you killed because you're curious. I'm gonna put my coin away.
Okay.
Just says something afterwards, but it's muffled.
So I'll tell tell the medical staff. I do not know exactly what happened, but I will come back with further information if it proves useful to you.
And the medical staff, one of the guards there, he goes, yes, thank you, but what did he... Okay, so this is slightly healed, but what about this scar writing on his arm? What... Is that from this same incident, or is that older?
Excuse me?
And
show me.
And he kind of like... He trims back some of the fur really quickly on the arm and shows you where all these lacerations had healed over into scars. And all you see is written, carved into his arm is, "It's real."
Badoop, Bara! This gentleman carved "It's real" in his arm, so I believe that whatever he found, he wanted to make sure he remembered it. So don't touch anything until I get there. And if you want to touch something,
I won't.
take Tarlock or Tim with you if you want to touch something.
That is phrasing, but yes,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, I'll go and touch Tarlock. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna take a detour. I'm gonna check on the princess. Since
Okay.
the security is right up there, right?
Yes. Yeah, you
thing
can.
about
You
the
could either
security
go
room.
out the doors and up the stairs, or you can just take the ladder up. But I mean, it's the same distance.
I think
so.
I'm gonna go through the doors and knock because I feel like that's a little more polite
Okay.
for a royal family.
Okay.
They don't need someone else to spook them. I'm sure Tim did something bad.
All right.
Certain of it.
I will note this. As you're walking out of the guard room, you notice there's not as many guards in there as you feel you've noticed before.
My eyes are suspicious.
Yeah. You
What
also
Now I am
notice
extremely worried.
you also notice that the holding cells are empty.
I am also extremely nervous. Okay, in I go. I'm not knocking anymore. I'm walking
Okay.
straight on in.
All right, you walk up the
Is
stairs.
the princess in here?
And there is a guard there, but apparently the guards have been notified of your assistance in the matter, and he unlocks the doors for you as you come up and you slam it open, and you see the princess with Uncle Merrick and an older lady who you might presume is Merrick's wife, and they're sitting at a table just kind of having lunch.
Okay, so I'm gonna close
Hanging
the door
out,
real quick.
staring
I'm
at
gonna
you.
bow. I'm gonna bow at it and say, I'm going to be. I actually don't know this yet, but I am going to be your bodyguard because that's not important. May I speak to the adults, please? As I like motion, stammering at
Okay.
the uncle.
Merrick is he kind of wipes his face a bit and he stands up. This is quite rude. He stands
I
up and he walks
apologize,
over
this
to
is-
you.
Okay, apologize for the rudeness. This is very urgent,
He kind of
but I'm gonna. Are we out of the earshot of the tiny one?
not yet. He pats her on the head and he kind of nods towards the balcony and brings you outside. And now you are out of earshot and you're standing
Okay.
on the balcony.
Feel as if I must inform you of the situation that's happening. A man has just been injured, and I just want to make sure that you and the princess are safe. So make sure that any security that you have while I'm gone, because I'm going to go help my friends investigate, make sure that it is on the utmost highness.
Because
This
royalty,
is a very...
highness.
Huh?
Highness.
I did not mean for this, but it happened.
I approve.
Merrick, he seems a little bit taken aback. He's, Okay. I appreciate
pops
the
into his-
information. Yeah. You're right. And so Merrick says, well, I suppose you can wait here with us if you'd like. Do what you need to do, but please don't start on my niece. She's quite impressionable at such a young age.
I apologize. I'm just very worried about your safety right now. So I will make sure to be less explosive in the future.
Thank you. Would you like some lunch?
I will take you up on that after I go take care of another situation. So if you'll excuse me, I will be back. Remember, highness of security, red alert, or whatever.
He pulls out the little amulet that he had used before and he says, don't worry, I have ways of protecting us.
Can you double it?
Not without a lot of parts and a lot of time. But I will be aware.
Okay, so I'm like, all right, now shoot. Go back inside. He's gonna walk away.
He goes back
You're
inside.
Walk. Like, bow. Sorry. I'm sorry.
And the little girl, as you're kind of walking back out to the stairs, kind of like leans out of her chair and goes, gives Bjorn a little wave. All right. So I take it you're heading
Now-
back to the group.
Okay.
Going through the mental checklist. What do I need to do?
Do you need anything before I come back?
No, just you.
Beep.
just you. Come back.
Okay. Sprinting.
Okay.
Emergency out of my way.
Boom.
All right. Pan cut to Bjorn skidding to a halt in front of everyone, kind of hanging out there. Tim's eating apples in cold storage. Tarvok's figuring shit out that he just kind of might have clued in on. And you guys are all just kind of hanging out with Dimitri while you're waiting for the fuel. And finally, Dimitri turns to Vera and says, I think it's probably safe to open up this tank now. Please stand back just in case there's a little bit of excess
Am I back
hydrogen. Yeah, you're back now.
Oh, I was about to be like, don't open it without me there.
Well, wait. Yeah,
I'm back.
uh,
Okay, we're good.
I tell Dimitri, wait, and then I gather everyone.
Okay.
Like I'll go around. Yeah. Go get Tarvok. Go get Tim. Make sure Arthur at least is facing the right direction. Yeah, so we're all like, hopefully, looking at this. Maybe even like it seems like maybe we should be ready for a battle, and be ready.
Okay.
All right. Well, I am going to be standing right behind Vera, just in case something like pops out or something.
Sure.
I
with my-
stand behind Bjorn.
Okay, I guess I'm standing in front of her. I'm gonna intimidate whatever comes out of the tank.
Yeah. I like I'm standing in front of Bjorn, and then I realize I'm standing in front of Bjorn and go, and then like go run to the back.
All right.
Like, what am I doing?
All right, you guys.
Wait. Do we have flour?
Well, I mean, you can always go grab another sack if you want.
I'm grabbing another sack of flour, and when
Sure.
he opens up the tank, I'm gonna throw the flour up to see if something can be seen.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So Dimitri waits until you come back with the sack of flour and goes, "Are you
Trust me.
strange ones ready to finally do this, or
We are not strange. You're the one who is a cat,
you're holding a bag of flour?"
and you're a cat.
Isn't that racist?
It sure is, but he's
You're a
being
Yeah.
he's being mean to me.
Oh, good.
Fair point. It's okay. Let's open this up. And he pops a couple of the seals around this hatch on the side of the tank, and cranks a couple of levers here and there. It's a very strange mechanism, and you hear the seals start to release, and as this tank finally, I guess, regulates itself, and then he pulls off the side hatch and kind of slides it off. And inside the tank, which still kind of smells a little bit hydrogen-y.
What does hydrogen smell like, Ken?
Hydrogen.
Starting to think.
I don't know if it's scentless or not. I'm just fucking pulling this out of my ass here. I'm not a chemist.
Continue, sorry.
It smells like happy farts. Yeah.
Please elaborate.
Like, not bad farts. Like, you know those random ones where you're like, that's kind of like juicy fruit. No?
Or like...
Hydrogen smells like juicy fruit. There you go.
I don't think I've ever had that happen, but yay!
Alright. And this tank is totally empty, from what you can tell. And in the bottom of it, kind of below where that other hole was up top, there's another hole, a little bit wider. And when you guys open the tank, you heard a strange sliding noise as the seals were releasing, and then a bit of a thunk. And then that's it.
Now!
Take a handful of flour and throw it into the tank. A couple of flour. I'm gonna be very suspicious. I anoint you in flour.
That is the weirdest ceremony ever, but okay. You toss the flour into the tank, and there's really... It just settles at the bottom of the tank. There's no shapes in there at this time.
Is there you said was there a hole in there?
Yep.
There's a hole in the tank. Does
Yep.
it go somewhere? Down?
It looks to go down, possibly into the cargo area.
I'm going to the cargo area. Bye, guys.
Wait. I'm just gonna look in the hole first, like
Okay.
where
Oh,
exactly
So
right
does it
behind
go?
her.
You step into
Nothing.
the tank to look in there. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Make sure
These are big tanks, by the way. Like, they're, like I said,
Right,
so
yeah, they're
like
the
The
25
holes in
feet
the
long.
bottom of the tank.
Yes.
Tim is going to. I'm assuming that Bjorn didn't like throw the entire.
No.
No,
Thing
I
of
was just
flour.
throwing
Took a
a
handful
little
of
bit
it.
to try and see if there was something in there. But
So Tim's gonna take a handful of flour, cast light on it, and drop it down the hole.
Okay.
wow, you're smart.
And Vera, you step in there, and as you're watching Tim do this and looking through this hole, you see the flower, like, beautiful. Like, this is
Just a
the
blanket of light.
You make a mental note, Vera. If you ever get married, I'm not sure if Vera is married or not, but if you ever get married, that's what you want people to throw on you at your wedding, is this, like, glistening, light-producing
Light
flower.
That
That sounds pretty good.
horrible.
And it goes down through the hole, and it kind of lights up a little bit. But there's already a bit of light coming from the hole, and it looks like you guys are looking down on a pile of wooden rubble, almost like there was a crate there.
All right, let's go to the crate.
All right, you guys
Alright.
you guys go down to the cargo hold, and you see the glistening flour on the ground and kind of sprinkled on the crate that Arthur had destroyed that one night, the previous night, I guess. And yeah, that's basically what you see at this point. And then of course there's the other crate next to it.
Throw the flower.
Throwing it everywhere.
All right, you start anointing the
really
whole
quick.
area with flour, and as you get closer to the crate that was next to the one that's destroyed, you see it start to drape over another longer, thicker, almost like a hose-like thing that resembles...
So there's an invisible thing that's being stopped by my flower.
Yes,
Starbucks,
that
shoot
is
it!
stopping your flour.
So since you just decided to run before I could tell you, I think I have a general idea as to what these invisible things are.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, the only person who even gave it some thought might have been Tim, but I'm pretty sure the bugger was just hungry. He's just eating apples.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
That's what I thought. So, is anybody familiar with the Yuan Ti? They're
Mm-hmm.
kind of like reptiles, but not.
I'm
So
not
they've got
familiar.
all sorts of fun little tricks if you're not careful. Bjorn, can you kind of throw your flower fists up just a little higher, and we'll see where this thing is before I start throwing arrows at it.
All right, Bjorn, you douse the entire area with flour, and you see the shredded end of this, whatever the hell it is, seem to have slumped back down through. And when you guys release the pressure in that tank, finally, it seemed to like finally drop down into the cargo area where it seems to have come from, and it's draped kind of over the rubble a little bit and then up into the other container. Like, from what you can tell, it came through the other container into the one that was now destroyed.
Oh,
And then up through the floor into the tank, across into the cold storage, and then up into the refrigerator. That seems to be the
So-
path it's taken.
if I was a betting man, I guess this is the other half of the thing we found just upstairs. So,
But it made a noise, right?
well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the noise we heard was it hitting the ground. Anybody have any ideas? Should we see if we can get the other tank open?
Yes, but
Should
real quick, do we have the manifest around? What did you say it was called again?
Say what was called, sorry? The cargo?
Tarbok said that the creature had a name.
Oh,
well, it reminds me of a race known as the Yuan Ti, but I don't think it is one. It's just very.
I was thinking we
very-
could look in the manifest and see if they brought one on board for some reason.
So, Vera, you're pretty good with alchemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we get them to open up the other tank, will we plummet to the ground?
I think they need that tank in order to cycle the gas through it, and from what I understand.
So what you're saying is we're gonna go find the captain, get him to, put us down on the ground or the water, wherever the hell we are, and then get him to open it. Because if we go up and investigate now, we're gonna die.
Has Tim noticed the disappearance of people, or has he kind of caught on to the fact that the crew's looking thinner and thinner?
There's been mentions of it
there have
in
been
front
mentions
of
of
us,
it. That
Just
there
in
seems to be
general.
not enough staff in some areas.
but they also forget them as well. It's like the person's never existed.
Yeah, but we don't really know that though.
We do. Some of us do. I just don't remember which one of us was in
Bjorn-
the presence of the person.
Bjorn,
I think
you
I
were in the
was.
galley, and when Hobo was showing you the fridge, and he started to ask Donna, the cook, how so-and-so was, and then was like, wait, I don't know who I was going to ask about. So that was all
Well-
strange.
Well, no. Dimitri complained about it.
Dimitri
Dimitri-
complained about
Not having
only
five,
having...
but then he said, "I don't remember the other two."
Yeah.
He thought he was
Don't-
supposed to
don't-
have 5.
And then the captain, I think, also complained in front of Bjorn. Not the captain. I think it was Titrable, or someone complained about there not being enough guards, or something to that effect. Like someone asked, "Why didn't you hire this many people?" And then they said, "Oh, and then the captain himself said, "Oh, I thought I did. Must be a mistake of the."
Yes, that did happen.
And something random luggage.
Right, that too. So the form is going into the second crate, or the crate next to the one that was destroyed, right? Like, we should open
Yes.
that. Yeah, I guess I'll be like, well, why don't we open this second crate? I mean, there seems to be something in there. To no one in particular.
Oh, I was waiting for
well,
someone to respond to you.
I guess we'll open the crate. I'm gonna stand back and just.
I'll do it. Don't worry. I got it.
Do what I do best. Just
Just,
let me know when to
don't
let it
shoot.
go.
So I'm gonna
Has
open.
anybody seen the captain?
I have recently.
Not recently.
Never mind.
Well, kind
It's
of
been
recently.
a bit. It's been a bit.
Yeah,
but-
it's been a bit because I ran around a lot, but I think I saw him today in this technical day. Because I talked to the captain because Tuchable Tuchable was beaten on MC, and then I asked him to make an executive decision to put me on the security detail, I think. Or
Mhm.
Tim did. I don't know, something to that effect. It's been a while. But we saw him today.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Mm.
Arthur, also, I'm going to say at this point, you're starting to feel a little better from the mimosa. You're thinking a little more clearly, even though you still have a bit of a buzz. But you're feeling okay. It's wearing
Arthur's
off.
been fine for a while.
Oh, okay.
Mimosa.
Mimosa. All right.
Yeah, so we're opening the crate.
All right, so Tarvok stands back, ready to loose an arrow, and Bjorn, you crack open the locks on the crate, and as you swing open the wooden doors to it, you guys just see a bunch of random boxes, and some of them have been chewed through. There's a little bit of dry goods in there in terms of some food, a little bit of, like wheat and barley and whatnot, and
So I'm just gonna do us a little sprinkle.
you drip the flour in there. Flour bay. And it starts to take shape as you do so. Whatever is in there is like wedged through all the boxes that it seems to have destroyed. You
This is
actually,
a giant invisible danger snake.
from what you see, it kind of looks like it, yeah. And it does gradually get a little bit wider and wider as it goes. But it doesn't seem to respond to when you sprinkle flour on it. You actually had to pull a few boxes out before you could see it, because it was kind of inside all the cargo that was in there. But
So
when you do
this
see it, it's
guy
eaten
was
through some of the
attached.
stuff. Yeah.
So he's attached to this.
To whatever's
was
laying outside.
Attached to something.
Yeah.
It's the same snake. Same danger noodle.
Yep.
Okay.
And it is going down through the bottom of the cargo, and it looks like through the bottom of the cargo hold itself out the bottom of the ship.
Sarah, do you have a vial? Or a bottle of some sort?
Of course.
I want to take one and send a sample to Bevington. I want to take a piece of the piece of the creature itself with the flower so he can see it and tell him that we need to find out what this is.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Vera will just step up and get the sample and then hand it to Bjorn.
I'll just
So
open the ball. You can put it inside. It's
Are you gonna carve it off then, Vera, or?
Sure. Yeah.
Vera's a scientist. I'm sure she can figure out the best way to do so.
Okay.
Or squish whatever I can into it.
Tim will just hand Vera one of his daggers.
Sure.
Aw, how nice.
A gift.
Use the dagger to try and make a hole. Well, first I'll just stab it, and then try and get if there's blood or juice, whatever the heck this thing is.
Ugh, that's vivid. Okay. You stick that dagger right into the side of this thing, and as you do so, all of a sudden it yanks down through the bottom of the floor of this cargo. And you see the end of it kind of like flopping around, spraying flour everywhere, and then it just kind of like pulls out of the bottom of the floor, and you're now looking through a hole in the bottom of the ship into open air.
It fell from the
I
sky.
can only like imagine.
It didn't fall. It didn't fall. It pulled out of there. It reacted.
Ah.
Well, I'm gonna go to the captain and let him know what happened, because I guess there's now a danger noodle walking around. Sorry, around.
All right.
This is what happens when I have
On the
ideas.
outside
I'll
of
stop
the
having
ship.
them. I'm sorry.
Maybe we should go to the deck. There might be something. I mean, it's still invisible, but
Yeah, I was
An
about
invisible
to
sky
say,
cracker.
Vera, I don't think going out to fight an invisible, I'm sorry, danger noodle.
That's what we're calling him until we figure out what it is.
All right,
don't-
well, I don't know if fighting invisible noodles is a very smart idea. We
if
have
I
to
know
figure-
where it is, I can probably get it to come out to be visible again.
So
Well-
you said that it's been eating stuff. What if we lure it out with food?
Yeah.
Nose goes.
Yeah. I'll.
Hey Arthur, you want to
Arthur.
go be the bait?
Arthur's just kind of like peering in. And just all right. And he
Fuck it.
hang on. He casts a minor illusion of himself, and he kind of like sends that to wherever it needs to go to be the bait.
Where do you
don't know
guys
where
think
we
you need to
wanna
go?
Where we let's speak with the captain first and ask him where would be the best place to try and draw out a giant danger noodle that possibly makes people forget about it. Two. This is a very odd
Starting
situation.
to get the feeling that maybe we should just try to kill it before doing anything else. I mean, it's
Well, down the hole then.
Vera looks down
Into the
hole.
abyss, 15,000 feet down.
Yeah. Like,
Okay, well it slithered down there. So I don't know if it's still on the ship.
Chances are, though, I mean, look at the size of this thing inside the ship.
What if it's
Pretty sure that it's still here somewhere. It's not down in the water or the
I guess it would've
ground.
splashed or something?
You guys
Look
are
down there
super
looking for
high
a
above the
splash.
ocean right now. Your course has taken you past Baldur's Gate already, and you guys are actually over the Sword Coast right now.
Oh, sweet. So we're looking down, and I'm looking for like a splash. Like,
You don't see
several
anything
minutes
actually.
later.
Yeah, just the white caps kind of going over the waves. That's it.
shit. We need to find another hole in the ship.
There might not be another one. We really should just go to the deck. I think that would be our best bet. We'll look for something out of place.
Okay. I'll follow Vera.
Let's go.
The best
Okay.
plan we've got so far. If anything, while we're going back, I'm gonna grab another bag of flour.
Okay.
And
Tonight.
while we're in the room, I'll like
Dude.
frantically spew some out every room we go in.
You're just like a flower girl on the ship, just tossing it around.
I'm gonna put like bags of flour in my bag. Just all right. Just
It'll fit.
Yeah. All of the flour is mine. Thank you.
Good luck having
have
any
the
cake
other
the rest
bag.
of the trip. Jeez.
I'm gonna have the rest of the bag flopping out just a little bit, so that way I can just do this.
Okay. All right. You guys, you make your way up past cold storage. You see Lieutenant Tuchable is still there, just kind of investigating this piece.
Tuchable, get the captain.
Okay. Yes,
He
I
is
can.
on the deck.
Yes, that's probably where he is. Yeah, I'll see you up there, I guess. And he kind of lets you guys go ahead, anyways. And
Wait, is that part still there? Like it didn't go.
that is like
somewhere?
the piece that was severed off.
Farrah, get a sample of that.
Right.
If it wiggles and goes again, I'm sorry. I'll stop telling you to get samples of things.
Phrasing.
I will do that.
All right.
It's still invisible, right?
It is. You can still see it because of the
Sure.
flour, but it seems Tuchable's actually taken a closer look at it and rubbed some of the flour off, and actually can see that it's invisible now at this point. You get down to you poke it again with your dagger, and it doesn't wiggle. It doesn't wiggle this time, and you successfully grab a sample by kind of carving a piece out. It's flesh. That's from what it feels like. It's flesh, and you can see only the bits of flour on it, and as you kind of rub it around, the flour spreads out a bit more, and you can see the entire piece that you've taken out. And your fingers feel sticky and wet and gross now, almost like they're covered in blood, but you can't see it.
I will prestidigitation all
Clean
over
your
my
hands.
hands.
All right.
Gotta wash my hands.
Yeah, flu like goes.
Okay. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Like licks your fingers clean.
Yeah, basically.
So
Doritos.
the vial is being sent to Bevington with a sprawled out Bjorn note. This piece comes from an invisible monster we know not of the origin of. Please send us information if you find out what it is as soon as possible, because we are in the air and it wiggled away.
Classic.
P.S. I love you.
P.S. Is Mason doing okay? Slap.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay,
Perfect.
so you send that away. It successfully disappears from your ball, and yeah, Tuchable is still just kind of watching you guys, like, what the fuck? And you guys make your way up to the deck, I assume.
Yeah.
We're all away. Yes, sir.
All right. The
That's
top
the
deck.
plan.
You guys scoot up the stairs into the galley, up the dining area stairs, up to the sun deck, and you scoot on over to the captain's quarters.
Wait, do we scoot on? What? Why are we
Do you
doing
want to
that?
not scoot? Isn't that where the deck is that you want to go to? The captain's quarters on the top deck?
Oh,
Which
It's
deck
right to
do you
go.
want to go to? Is my
I mean,
question.
like we'll start at the lower one
Oh.
and look. We're
For
looking.
things.
We're looking for things out of place.
As I'm spreading flour.
And throwing flour. Like we're looking for it.
Okay.
Essentially.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I thought you were just going directly to the top deck. Okay. Throughout your
Unless
path.
it's there.
Aha! Now, throughout your path, you guys are spreading flour around through the rooms that you're going through, and people are looking at you very strangely.
Good thing I have no shame.
The cleaners even are looking at you guys like, God damn it, come on. And you walk by in the dining area, and you see Sam, and he's confused as to what the hell you guys are doing. Let me see.
As everybody's walking around, Tim is looking for his friend that he made, who he gave many a gold to.
Okay.
If we go by the princess quarters, I'm gonna do a quick search. I'm gonna knock very politely and wait.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
So
I'll take you on a path here. Then you guys go up through the cold storage into the galley and then into the dining room. You see Glavius Sekul sitting with his son and his wife at the table having lunch, and he spots you coming out of the galley area, and he just kind of gives you a quick little greeting. That's it. He just keeps eating his food as he notices you as well.
Yeah, Tim will kind of step away from the group for a quick second and use prestidigitation to make that little figure appear again, and kind of like on his plate this time, like definitely trying to get his attention, like almost like the figure's grabbing his food before he's able to take a bite and pointing to Tim.
Okay. And he immediately like takes his napkin off and puts his cutlery down and gets up and just walks directly to you. He says, I'm trying to remember this guy's voice. I'm pretty sure it had no accent, actually, right? Sorry, I've done so many voices so far. I don't think he had an accent. He says, yeah. How are you, my friend?
Glavius, I need to get my hands on a pre-flight roster. Something that may have been used before we left. Do you think that's something you might be able to get your hands on? Perhaps information.
I suppose I could get that, but wouldn't you be best asking the captain for something like that?
Yes, but we have theories. I think it would be better to get something a little bit more authentic, not something that could be made on the spot.
Right. I'll see what I can do.
Is he in the presence of all of us?
Yeah.
No, we stepped aside a few
Oh,
feet.
did you? Okay.
Oh, and you let us know
You're
that
kind of
you needed
nearby,
to-
I guess, then, yeah.
Yeah, you would let us know
Still
then, right?
throwing flour.
You guys are causing enough of a scene to it would go unnoticed.
Yeah.
I got you, Tim. I'll throw that flower so good.
All right, so you, he's like, I'll see what I can do, but yeah, you don't have to pay me this time. There's something weird going on. I can't shake this disturbing feeling of grief that I've been having.
That's what I'm worried about.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Where can I find you?
Anywhere. Just call.
Follow the flower.
A bat signal of like a top hat up in the sky. Okay.
A top hat with cross canes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let the rock on him.
Okay. Yes. So you part ways with Glavius Sakul. He goes back and sits down with his family, and as you do see him sit down, he leans over to his son and gives him like a big one-armed hug around the shoulders and rubs his hair and like stares at his son for a second and just kind of shakes his head a little bit. And...
Didn't he have 2 kids?
Did he?
He had 2 kids.
Oh wow.
The grief he has is for his lost kid?
Shh.
He might have had 3 even.
Oh my god.
So
Stop metagaming.
yeah, don't meta, don't.
How is that metagaming? That's just putting 2 and 2 together. My character doesn't have to know that, but I do now.
Actually, it's 3 minus 2.
Anyway, we keep throwing flour.
I mean, man, Bjorn doesn't know this. He's just whimsically throwing flour like some kind of fairy god bro.
All right, as you're throwing flour throughout the rest of the dining hall before you leave the dining hall, you get towards the very end, to the aft of the dining hall, and where it opens up kind of into the patio dining area on the lower end. And on the last table on the right, you toss some flour over, and you're all together still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tim definitely caught up to the group.
You hear one particularly outspoken man, a stocky, taller-looking man with blonde hair, human.
Oh no.
He turns to you and he goes, "What the hell, man?" And Vera, you instantly recognize Mr. Z.
Oh.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Wait a
Oh.
minute.
He wasn't here before.
You guys hadn't seen him yet.
All right. I recognize him now.
You do,
Right.
yes.
Okay. Be like, oh, hello, Z.
Moira, right?
Vera.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. How are you? What are you doing? Why are you
Vera,
throwing
who is this?
flour everywhere?
Who is this and can we trust him?
This is the man who gave us the bombastium, and I forget the other thing.
Chlorophyte?
Chlorophyte. So that we could save or help Mason. So I think
I'm gonna
he's
look at
trustworthy.
him very suspiciously.
Z kind of leans back and he holds up his cup of rum and he says, "Offer you a drink?"
I am on the job.
Fair enough.
Wait.
yeah.
Wait. So
Z.
everything is weird and fuzzy the last day and a half, but you had something to do with the construction of this monstrosity, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Actually, this
You
is.
did.
I was on the first trip when we kind of tested it out, and this time, I called in my favor with Bevington, and he got me a ticket. So here I am. Like,
Wait, so we know, us as players know, that Z is on the bomb ingredients that Bjorn's carrying around. But-
You and Vera and
So I was asking who
Tarbak
knows that.
and Bjorn, I think, are the ones I told.
mhm.
Okay.
I don't remember telling anyone else.
And you said it was a Z, right?
Yeah.
On the mechanisms involved. What? Miss Silent? I can't hear
So-
you.
Tarbak?
Just a second, Bjorn. Vera, I feel like you pointed something very important out just yesterday, actually, I think, with this gentleman. Should we welcome him like we welcome so many others?
It's like,
Mr. T, step into my office.
I'm not sure.
How are we welcoming people?
Oh, Bjorn, you know what? You're really good at welcoming people. Can you go hug Mr. Z?
Yes. I'm gonna go hug him.
Like, actually just hug him?
Never let go.
I just feel like Tarbak says I must welcome you.
And Z, in his chair, he's all scrunched up with his arms together. He goes, thanks.
I put him down. You have been sufficiently welcome.
No, I don't think he has. Maybe you should hug him just with a bigger form of a bear hug. Just let him have it, you know.
I love bear hugs.
He squinches up again and he's, thank you. And you can smell
I
the
don't think you're being as straightforward as you.
you smell the rum coming off of his breath, and he's like burping.
To
in
be
your
honest, Tim,
face.
this is the most fun I've had on this vacation of ours.
Then I
Since-
plop him
I
down.
can't remember what's going on anymore.
Never mind, carry on.
Has he been sufficiently welcome now?
I don't know, how red in the face is he?
If I like get really close to him. I think I am colorblind, so you might need to tell me.
You know what? I think you'd be able to see.
It's canon.
If you give him one more bear hug. Vera, get the bag. Oh no, Bjorn's got the bag.
Bjorn's got the bag and he's already hugging.
And one last time, you hear something pop for sure, and he's like, "You guys have weird customs, but thanks. Can I
Plop
please,
down.
can I just buy you a drink or something instead?"
I do not drink on the job.
Okay, sorry.
I guess I'll go. Well, here's. I don't know exactly.
I mean,
what
Bjorn's
Tarbak
kind of
wants,
like,
but-
he's like, Tarbak, now that he's been sufficiently welcome, can I ask you a question?
Sure, why not?
Do you think the Z is the same Z on the thing? Is it the same one?
And Z
See,
turns
I-
to you and he says, "What are you? What are
Shut
you
up.
talking about?"
I'm talking to Tarbak.
So maybe this is why I wanted you to hug him. and keep him hugged. So Vera can talk to him without any harm. Because, I mean, she can take care of herself, sure, but...
Z says, please no more affection. I'm all hugged out for the day, year.
I think I have sufficiently welcomed him enough to where he won't run. But if he runs, I'll punch him.
Just hug him again if he runs.
Okay.
I think that's more fun for us.
Okay.
You're...
to show him the item that may have his namesake?
I think maybe you should let Vera take care of that, actually.
Okay, I'll hand... Wait, I'm not going to hand Vera the bag. It's probably too heavy.
Well, I mean,
just...
You can just...
No, my bag has the bag in there.
Yes.
So take the bag out, give it to Vera.
Bag out.
There you go.
Vera. I'm going to shake it.
Just very quickly.
Flour just...
Vera was the only one to meet with Z the last time, correct?
Yes.
Right.
So we don't know. I don't know who Z is. So I was questioning whether or not you think it's the same.
But we all have a general idea as to what each party did when we were running around for the interlude.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure.
Yeah. So this is why I'm trying to take things from Bjorn, the kleptomaniac, to give to Vera.
Take the bag.
I'm taking the bag.
Okay. Vera successfully has taken the bag and now has the components to the bomb.
Well, so I'll just put it down.
Okay.
On the table,
Vera looks in the bag.
table.
Is this a bomb?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
and
putting a bomb
I
on the
wanna
table in an
stand
airship.
Right behind Z,
Okay.
ready to hug.
All right. So
Much
Vera,
affection.
you put these components down in front of Z. I'm gonna say probably quite discreetly, so you don't freak the fuck out of anybody sitting nearby.
Sure. Oh, I thought it was all in a bag.
It was some of it was kind of wrapped, but the components were there as well, right? Yes. So you put this down in front of him, and he kind of goes, "Where did you get this?"
Am I allowed to answer this question?
Let's let Vera answer this one.
I mean, whatever. I mean, Vera's, she's just like, well, I mean, we just found it. Do you recognize it?
Well, yeah, it's my making. This is something extremely dangerous to bring on an airship, you idiots. When did you buy this?
We didn't.
Okay, so it's something you can purchase. You make these and distribute them. Is that correct?
I make them on special order. The last time
You sell bombs?
Well, I'm an alchemist. I sell all sorts of shit. Yeah.
That checks out. I mean, I've made
You want to see my stock?
I've made
What are you buying?
bombs, Molotovs, you know.
Yeah. See, this guy gets it. Come on.
So, do you remember when you made this set in particular?
Well, that's easy. I always mark it with the kind of the date of when I make the mechanism. He turns it over and he sees like a few little scratches. They mean really nothing to you on first look, but he says, see, the way that I line up these scratches, it kind of tells me the year and the month that I've crafted this just in case I need it for investigative purposes, but I don't make it obvious. The Z, of course, is so that if anything happens and a city guard needs to get back to me with it and find out maybe if anybody uses it for nefarious purposes. I of course, I never want to cause any harm. I typically only sell to people or organizations that do good, or even minors sometimes. So yes, this is...
The way Tarvok, it's okay.
So you just
Fucking minors.
randomly a couple of teenagers just walk over and go, "Hey man, so can we buy some bombs from you?" And you're like, "Yeah, I got you. It's lit, fam, and it's lit already, and they're gonna die. And they don't know any better."
I hate you, Tarvok. Oh my god. I love what you just did there. But no, not those kind of minors, you dunce.
Oh, miners!
Yeah, you're a dwarf, come on.
Listen, it's been a long day.
Sure has.
I see. Yeah, I agree. At least it's been a long 5 minutes here, but okay, let me just 1 second. And he turns over the rest of this dial and he goes, yeah, so this is definitely mine. And I seem to have made it just a couple weeks ago.
Or? You don't remember.
I can't remember who. I thought it was you guys.
We found it on the ground. And
Why?
there was-
More importantly, why would you make a bomb for us?
If we're going on a ship.
And he starts like holding his temp. He's like, my head hurts. I need to drink some water or something. But oh, I could have swore it was for the maintenance department.
Darvok,
What,
do you think it's the danger noodle?
were we supposed to not board the ship, but destroy it?
No, we
I
are here to
don't
stop
know.
terrorists, not be terrorists.
We are the terrorists!
So just
Dun dun.
bear with me for a second. I'm probably wrong, but from what I can remember, we've all seen all sorts of different demi-humans downstairs. Some demons, ghouls. I mean, there was cages of harpies they were just gonna throw off the ship for fun.
This
Whatever the hell we've been chasing with Flower for the last day.
You see Z's eyes widening more and more as you're spouting
I'm
this
gonna,
up.
I'm gonna shush Z, like pat him on the head, like it's fine.
Not to mention, I mean, I think in passing, Tim mentioned something about like a golem. It just this entire ship is a farce. I don't even know what's going on anymore. All I know is I want to get back on the ground.
I don't think the royal family should be on this ship. If we're traveling with harpies and a danger noodle and a golem.
Ah,
Speaking of which, we should
My precious.
probably
well,
go soon.
yeah, no, Arthur. I mean, you've been pretty chummy with a bunch of people on the ship. Do they have? What would the equivalent of a lifeboat be for this thing? Any idea?
Arthur points at Tim, and he just goes, "Well, I think he can float pretty slowly."
He's not wrong.
All right. Well,
From what you guys remember of your initial tour, when MC Hobo also did his rap, and it's on your pamphlet map that you guys were all given as well, is there are 8 life craft on the edges of the boat, all on the main deck, and they look to be just like a covered boat for the most part, but they're life craft from what you've heard.
So Arthur kind of, after saying that about Tim, remembers, and he says, "There's about 8." And same. They've been kind of just described. Kind of repeats.
all right. So maybe we round up women and children. We get the royal family onto some lifeboats. Bjorn, take as much flour as you can. Just
Seems a
put
little
it
quick
in.
to do. I mean,
It's
Titanic
hard
in the
to
sky.
evacuate an entire boat to explain to them we're following an invisible danger snake.
Well, I
as
mean,
we're throwing flour everywhere, I think more or less we look like the crazy ones at this point. As like some flour, I assume, like kind of like falls over Arthur.
you're not wrong. I mean, we're
I mean,
not.
if you think about it, we're running around a ship throwing flour everywhere and carrying a bomb.
What are you talking about? It's part of the festivities.
I'm gonna check the ball to see if Bevington said anything back yet.
Sure.
Okay, while you're checking the ball, all right. So just keep it in mind. If we need to get out, we've got 8 vessels we can evacuate to, and Z's here, and I mean we've got Vera as well for alchemy purposes. We can set up the bomb somewhere, and then you could do whatever it is alchemists do and just explode the thing.
Z, did you have a way of locating your bombs?
No,
Good question.
I
Put the
for ones
rundown.
like
Think.
Magical trackers, enchantments.
Completely off topic. I'm very sorry, guys. The lighting on Ken's screen right now makes it look like he's in like a photo from the early 80s. Does anybody else see it?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. That was good point out.
Right?
For those of you who are listening to the podcast at this moment, be sure to tune in live to see these stupid moments. All right. Z, he thinks about it for a second and he says, well, I haven't made any bombs in quite some time. This, from what I recall, just this one, I didn't even remember making this one. I kind of do, I think. I just don't remember why. Before that, it's been months. I can,
potions?
yeah. I can.
Okay. Can you make potions that break memory things to make you remember? Or maybe a truth serum that would override what you know on your brain instead of under your brain. Something.
If you can parse what Bjorn just said, I'm gonna buy you a drink.
I think I know what you're getting at.
Because something that we've been tracking seems to affect people's memories, but you seem to get close to the memory and your brain hurts.
So
you need
mean
to
like
find some way to override that.
So like sort of a psionic inhibitor?
I don't know what that means, but yes.
Yes.
XCOM.
It sounds like whatever you're trying to terribly describe here is something that's psionic in nature. That could be it could be various different things where it's affecting your senses to distract you or to mess with your mind. From what I mean, I'm an alchemist. I don't, but in my studies before, I've noticed that there's been some abilities that some other creatures have had that maybe they blind you with something, or they do some sort of weird tone to make you like distracted, or that's all I can really think of.
Yes, but do you have a potion or an alchemical device that can counteract that?
I think what he's
not
saying...
only long enough to just say.
Well, here's what I'll respond to. I'm on vacation, yo. I didn't bring anything with me.
On vacation, yo, if you don't help.
But I don't have anything to make that stuff. There's some pretty specific ingredients to...
Do not worry, my dear friend. Pat. I can get you ingredients by Bevington. Just tell us what you need.
Okay. And he kind of scratches out on a napkin just a small list of some very strange sounding ingredients that you've never heard of. I'm not gonna create them right now, but he hands it to you and he says, if you can somehow find that on this ship, I might be able to do something.
It's not gonna be on this ship. I open up the ball, put the note in it, slam it down.
Cool. All right. Good stuff. Z also, he's like, you guys are really weird. So where did you find my item here? I don't want to say bomb, but where did you find it?
Just on here before we got on the ship. Right?
It was just on the floor. I grabbed it.
Like, was it just a bomb out in the open, or?
It's in the bag.
It was all in the bag.
Oh, in what? In like a luggage?
This bag.
Yeah, that bag. That bag has a secret.
No, it was in a.
It was in a larger piece of luggage.
Bag.
Oh, did I not put the large piece of luggage in my bag? Because I felt like
I don't think so. No.
No. Well then, fine. It was in a bag that had a secret compartment that had this bag inside of it.
Oh, was there anything else in there?
I'm sure I threw all of the components in the bag in here, so I'm just gonna start throwing them out. There's like swimsuits and
yeah,
paper.
You just pile a bunch of clothes up. You get all the contents that were in that bag, and then you get to the axe and then the maintenance department pamphlet, And Z goes, I mean, okay, is that your axe?
Was Eliana supposed to come with us?
Who?
Not you. I'm asking in general, was she supposed to come with us?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, you as a person. I don't remember.
Not that you remember.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You do
I just
remember.
remembered. I'm just making sure she's not eaten. It's fine. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I didn't remember if she was supposed to come with us or
Roll
not.
me an insight
I remember
check.
she was mentioned. I just don't remember what she was supposed to do.
Roll me an insight check. Bjorn. Sorry, just because that was what just popped up there.
14 plus 3.
Okay,
17?
because you just had that thought. You remember when you guys were all getting your tickets from Bevington. You remember him saying, "All right, you 6, here's your tickets."
Mm-hmm.
And Tarvok said, "Bevington, do you know how to count?" And Bevington shook his head. And, yeah. From what you guys recall.
Guys, I'm gonna remember this time and be like, guys, I think we have a problem. I think we're also affected by this memory thing.
Oh, for sure.
Duh.
No,
Have you not?
understand, someone was with us. This has
You
to
were
be
telling
someone
me
we
what I
know.
had for breakfast.
I'm going to scatter everything and see if we know this name. Any names?
There's no names on anything. Just the pamphlet, the axe, and some clothes.
What does
Curses.
the axe look like again?
It's very, it's a big battle axe. It's fairly ornately carved, and it has that handle that can kind of collapse down. It does seem very familiar to you, though.
I don't
To you
recognize
especially,
it.
Vera. You swear
Right,
you've
yeah.
seen it before, but
I mean,
you don't.
so, like,
you can't place it. Vera can't place it anywhere.
Okay, fine.
But
Axes
you're
or
like,
any
I swear I
initials?
know this.
Any initials I'm gonna like investigate. Ugh.
Sure.
Turn it around, stare at it really, really closely.
You look at the very hilt, and actually on the bottom of the hilt, kind of carved into the pommel piece at the very end, is IB.
Great.
Well, I just, like, out of character for a second.
Yes, now you know my struggle.
We're
Sorry.
not, like, we're not
Arc.
gonna get anywhere by
Mhm.
trying to figure out memory stuff because our characters
Yes.
can't, so we just need to move on.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
works.
there's nothing our characters can do with this information other than
And-
ask Bevington who IB means.
And this is
Right.
such a strange situation that I will say that the kind of meta that you guys were doing a little bit before, I'm okay with that right now, as long as you guys don't spill it into the game for the most part. It's all, I know this is fucky. And it's hard to
Yeah.
role play.
You did this on
Fair
purpose,
enough.
and
I
then
did do it on
Walking away
purpose.
to go find his dude again, looking for that roster.
Yeah. Bye, Tim.
I think we should really find this thing that you've been tracking because it is probably the cause of it. Psionics are, from what I understand, only going to go away when, you
Thing
know,
dies.
like mind flares, Iliads. They are illithids. I mean, they have similar, you know, powers, and they can make you do things, and that's probably what's going on here. I don't know what it is, but we aren't going to be able to figure it out because it's stopping us from doing that.
I agree with Vera. But how are we gonna find it quickly?
We make our way outside.
Yep. Just...
Do you think they have grappling stuff? Like,
I don't
Like-
think
like, if
it's
we-
necessary, Jorn. I think again, let's go visit the royal family because they have a personal deck, don't they?
yes.
Let's get outside from there.
Huh. Okay.
Sometimes I pay attention, I promise. It's not all the time. So we
So
just
we'll
bolt.
go. So we
Yeah.
go to the personal balcony of them, and then we'll like use rope to try and dangle from the ship and look for a hole on the outside that's different from the one that we have.
Okay.
Is that our goal?
God, that
I just-
sounds so dangerous.
It sure does, but that's all I got.
Danger is my fourth middle name.
Okay. Well, do you, Arthur? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna come with us on this danger mission, or are you?
No, absolutely not. Arthur is gonna stay and hang out with Z for a while.
Actually?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, Arthur's not going to dangle off the side of the ship. He thinks everyone's
Tim wouldn't
crazy
be doing
anyway.
that one either.
I'm not gonna dangle off the side of the ship, but I do think going to the royal suite or whatever is a
Well,
good
if
idea.
anything, to at least check to make sure that they are safe as well. With the whole thing, we can use that as like a base of operations.
Sure.
If they're okay with it, they could totally not be okay with it. All right, so
Well,
Who's
if they're
coming?
not okay with it, they might be dead soon. So
I can be very persuasive, I'm sure. If not, we'll tell Tarbok to be persuasive.
How am I going to be persuasive? I'm not going to kill a
You're-
kid.
You're charismatic and small. People love small, charismatic.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that I'm loved. Let's just go. This is getting weird.
Okay.
Bjorn trying to compliment is always weird.
all right, well, let's go there, I guess.
Sure. All right, so all of you except Arthur, I take it, or Tim, what are you doing?
Tim's going to go to try and find the roster from
Right.
his friend.
Thank you. All right. We're splitting the party 3 ways again. Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Fuck
love
yeah.
it when this happens.
In passing, Tim will just kind of like pass by Arthur and be like, Arthur, would you mind coming with me, please?
Yeah, all right.
Twisted his arm.
Oh, I will return the contents of the luggage back into my bag. By the way, I'm just gonna leave them strewn
In
on
front
the
of Z, he just fucking
table.
Just tosses a bomb back in your bag of holding. No biggie.
I
All
am
right.
because I'm not gonna let him have it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because if we had a bomb, there's a reason. So we need it just in case that reason is good reason.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason is to blow up their ship.
All right. You guys make your way up to the mid deck, and you're looking for a manifest, Tim. I thought you had Glavius Sakul looking for that for you.
I did.
It's-
That's who we're going to look for.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do we have a manifest of the ship on us? I think we've asked for it before, right?
You had the one from down in the cargo hold, but it was
Yeah, the
Uh,
cargo. No.
Yeah.
Tim's looking for a roster. Like,
right. Yeah,
Okay,
that was-
I'm gonna
for the
want
roster.
to look at the manifest when we're done with the royal family,
Okay.
since we have that.
All right. How do I want to do this?
You could do the roster first, and then
Yeah.
we can go next.
Tim and Z, or Tim and Arthur. Jesus. Z is still drinking his rum. He's hanging out. He's good to go. He's been hugged out. All right, Tim and Arthur, you guys make your way to the live dining area, kind of searching the areas on the boat, and eventually you come across Glavius Sakul near the ballroom. He kind of he nods to you, sees Arthur, kind of brings you off to the side a bit, and says, "We should probably there's a lot of people around here. We should go up a bit higher. And he takes you guys up to the sun deck. You see that there's a woodworking setup going on where they're teaching people how to do woodworking and stuff, and you guys kind of go off by the edge of the pool where there aren't too many people. Yeah, there you go. And Glavius, he stops you once you guys get near the edge of the pool, and he just kind of produces a small scroll that he's tied up himself, it seems, and he kind of hands it to you very discreetly. And he says, I hope this is what you wanted. And you pop it open, and you see it is indeed the assignments for every crew member on the ship.
To include passengers?
It does actually include the numbers for the passengers, but only like the last names and how many are in each suite.
Tim is going to peruse over this. Mr. Sakul, which room were you in? It's arranged by last name. Would you mind taking a look at this?
And he points to the G. Sakul A.Al in room, I guess that would be 9 of the regular packs. And he points to that.
How many names do you see here?
And he looks at it and he reads through it and he goes, I only see my name and a number of passengers.
How many people are currently staying with you?
It says 4, but it's just me, my wife, and my son. Why does my heart hurt?
I need to go. Get with your family.
Oh, I will, yes. Please, whatever you do, do it fast, because I have a bad feeling.
Let's go, Arthur. And we're like booking it back to get with everyone else.
All right. You guys book it back down to the live dining area. Just as you see the rest of the gang kind of making their way into the ballroom, the back entrance towards holy air conditioning.
Sorry,
That's okay.
me.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
You go through the ballroom entrance into the royal quarters instead of barreling through the guards area. As you go through the ballroom, you notice that they're setting up for dinner that night. There's really nice china and plateware and utensils being laid out, and it's just like glittering in there. And people are hustling and bustling, and you see there's quite a few guards in there now at this point. It seems that maybe they had shifted a whole bunch of them closer to the royal area. You guys step up to the double doors as you guys all kind of conglomerate together there.
As we were running through there, did we spot the captain?
You have not seen the captain there, no.
I am suspicious of the captain. Okay. I'm going to... Okay, guys. I will try to handle it. But you know how good I am at talking, so we'll see. So I'm going to knock. And wait.
After you knock, the door is opened by a fresh-faced looking Uncle Merrick. And he kind of cracks it open a little bit. He says, yes, welcome. Please come
Is it okay if our friends join us for a moment?
As
Don't
long as
worry.
it's okay. As long as it's not
Don't
all
worry.
night.
Just a moment.
Sure. Yes.
It's going to be a very odd request, but it's going to be just for a moment.
Okay.
So, we'll jump in. Where's the child?
She's coloring on her bed right now.
Okay, so she can't hear us from here?
Not if you yell, or only if you yell, I should say.
Okay. So, make sure you close the door behind you guys!
Okay, so you guys all kind of file in there, and you're standing in the front area of their living quarters.
Sure. This is going to sound very odd. But we are chasing something. And we don't know quite what it is yet. But it would be best if we could use your balcony check. I'm gonna look like at everyone to be like, did I do that right, guys?
Merrick goes, well, yeah, okay, strange, but let me go. My wife is out on the balcony. I'll go collect her.
Okay.
Feel free to come with me. You guys make your way over to the balcony, and again, the little girl kind of waves at all of you. She's just the sweetest little thing.
I have my sentient rug, right?
It's still wrapped around your shoulders.
I'm gonna unwrap the rug. Flap out some flour. And I'm going to motion the rug. Entertain the kid. Let it walk the kid.
Okay.
I don't need my rug to fly off into the abyss, thanks.
Well, it doesn't fly. We've already determined that.
That's exact. No. You don't understand.
Oh, I see. On the yes, I get what you're
It's gonna
saying.
leave.
Right, I
I
see.
like my rug.
All right. Sure. You know what? Give me a quick charisma check just to convince this rug it knows what you're doing.
Okay. I don't have any charisma.
Wait, what?
I have no charisma.
Oh my god.
16.
Okay. I think the rug kind of clues into what you're doing, and it's at the point where it's pretty friendly with you, so you gently place it down near the small child, and it just kind of like boing, picks up the corners of it with its tassels and just kind of like flings them around funnily and makes the little girl laugh.
The rug, have a cup of tea.
Pretty great.
All right, so you guys all get brought over to the balcony.
As long as the rug doesn't kill the child, that's all I ask.
The rug slowly envelops her.
Hungry.
It's just a hug, don't worry.
Yeah,
that's
Bjorn
fine.
just gives hugs.
I mean, I hugged the rug into submission, so it's fine.
You hug everything into submission now.
I do.
All right, so you guys, you make your way over to the doors to the balcony, and as you get there, Merrick, he starts opening up the door, and he looks outside, and he suddenly, all at once, this all seems to happen at once, you hear silence. Like it's almost like you've been in a concert for 3 hours, and you just
I'm
walked
throwing
outside. And it's like you have just walked outside, and then immediately after the silence you hear an ear-piercing shriek of a woman, and then Merrick yelling, "Diora!" And he goes rushing out onto the balcony.
I am following quickly behind.
And
I'm
you
gonna.
all, yep.
Oh, Vier's gonna be like, Bjorn, flower, and I'm gonna ready for when I see the flower like getting onto something. I'm gonna ready dispel magic.
Okay. I'm throwing flour as I'm running behind Malik. Just.
Merrick, but yes. All right.
Tarvok, ready an arrow!
Like the combat flower
Go
girl.
to.
Combat flower!
You go running out behind Merrick as he's rushing for what you now see is his wife, barely hanging on to the railing on the side balcony, on the starboard side of the royal balcony. And she is gripping onto this railing as tight as she can, screaming as there is this thing latched onto her leg, trying to pull her off the boat.
We can see it.
You can now see it in this sudden,
Okay.
random, soundless silence that you now have. While this thing's mouth is clamped down around her leg, you can see her bleeding already. She has this strange, grotesque face. It's like a grayish white with like splotches of red all over it. It has no eyes in its like almost indented sockets that you can see, but they're just covered in skin. It has no nose but this bump with like a single slit across it, and then it has this massive Jay Leno-esque jaw jutting out with teeth that are like 3 inches long and just big, massive chiclets. And it's chomping down on her leg and trying to drag her off the boat.
This.
You can now see it.
So
Is it
Arthur...
silent?
This weird humming that you guys have been hearing and just barely noticing this entire time is gone. It's almost as if you have, like I said, left a rock concert and you just hear the silence afterwards.
Does Tarvok realize what this is now? Based on the previous encounter.
Roll me a history check, please.
The reason why I'm asking if all of this is there because I'm going to tell Arthur to draw
19.
Okay. Tarvok, you realize why this piece of whatever this thing was in the cold storage reminded you of the Yuan-Ti. And that's because they have psionic abilities, and they're almost reptilian in nature, but this thing definitely isn't scaly. This thing is skin and just gross, and this is something that you've only heard of in bedtime horror stories. And now everything that MC Hobo had mentioned before about blind spots is starting to make sense. And as you're checking back, you remember Ileana was with you guys. You remember that axe. You don't remember her having a bomb, but you remember she was coming with you on this mission. You remember Clarence all of a sudden, the little gnomish guy that you met in the lineup going in, and for some reason you hadn't thought of him up until now, but he pops into your mind, and you remember these bedtime stories you were told as a tiny little bearded dwarf is what's called a false hydra.
Shit.
And you know that this thing lives in your blind spot. It avoids you. It sings a song until it's time to feed, and every now and then when it feeds, you might have a brief moment of thinking about something. And now is that moment. You remember blasting a fuck ton of arrows at this thing when Arthur casted silence down in the main engine room. And you remembered the disgusting splorp of flesh that fell down when you severed this thing in half between the tank and the cold storage area, and you remember seeing it fall into the cold storage area and retract back to the top of the tank and down. And now you remember target, though. And now you have a target, and you remember in the stories that this thing can only affect your mind when it wasn't feeding, and when it was feeding, you remembered everything with a horrible, gut-wrenching distinction. And it can have more than one head. It is a false hydra. And you conveniently, you did a good history check, that's why I'm telling you so much here, but you remember in the stories that if someone was destroyed by a false hydra or taken by it and eaten, you recall it somehow, its song can fill the gaps in your mind and just conveniently provide an excuse and distract you from actually thinking about what's missing. And if you think too hard about what's missing, you can go manic, you can get headaches, you can eventually go insane if you try and figure it out. But
like the two elven gentlemen. So, all right. Well, I like having targets, so I'm gonna just lean over the edge of the boat there and take a pot shot at its flesh sockets.
Can I try, while he's doing that, running to the lady and holding onto her with like strength check or something?
I'm gonna hold you guys both there and say roll for initiative. We're in combat. And we're gonna take a short break because we're really late on our break. We're gonna make it a short one, but we're in the meat of this, so we're gonna come back in like 5-6 minutes. We're just gonna go fill our water, and we want to get some of this out if you guys are down with that. Yeah. Sound cool? Mm-hmm. All right. We will see you guys in like 5 minutes. All right. Hey everyone, thanks again for staying with the Ret-Con-Artists. As I've mentioned, pretty much every single episode, you guys are what make us tick. You are what keep us going, keep us having fun, and just keep us feeling the love. So thank you again for everything that you guys do. If you're interested, check on the links in the description for the Twitter and the Discord, and just come say hi and hang out with us. I hope you're enjoying the mindfuckery in this episode, and it's about to get a little weirder. Some crazy stuff's gonna happen, and I'm just gonna let you go ahead and listen. Thanks again for being here. Enjoy. Alright, we have returned, and we have rolled for initiative. I need Max's initiative. Poor favor.
11.
Alright.
11, Bob.
At
One
least
more time
I'm
for the
not
podcast.
last one.
Alright.
One more time for the podcast.
21 for Vera.
Yes, I've got it all written here. So
I got a
Tarvok's
22.
Yes, Tarvok is starting off with a 22. Then Tim and Vera also each have a 21, so I'll have you guys just quickly roll one time just to see who has the highest natural number.
Not me.
14.
Okay, so it goes Tarvok, Vera, Tim.
I think also in 5e rules, it actually says the players get to decide every round
Sure.
who goes. But
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do it that way?
sure.
Good for
That's
me.
Tim shakes his
I'll
head.
just go first every time.
Alright, sounds good. You rolled it anyways. Alright. Vera, Tim, and then Hydra. Bjorn.
Hi.
And Earther.
Earther.
Alright. Tarvok, you were up first. You said you wanted to try and throw an arrow into its face socket.
It's flesh sockets.
Alright.
So let's just recap on my lovely to hit. I believe it is currently plus. Oh, it's plus 8 now to
Okay.
hit. So I'm gonna roll my d20. And I rolled an 11 plus 8, so that's 19.
That hits.
Awesome. So here's my first damage roll. Where's my d8? So d8. I rolled a 7 plus 3, so that's 10. I'm gonna hit it again. So
Oh my god.
roll
You
to
just gonna
hit.
kill it? Like one thing?
17 plus. I doubt it. 17 plus 8, so 25.
That's total damage?
No, that's that was my second to hit because I get two attacks
Oh.
per turn.
Yes, lovely.
Right. So the first one was 10. The second one is 1d8 plus 3.
Okay.
Which is 6 plus 3, and then I roll. Is it a d6 for Colossus Slayer, or is it a d8?
Because it's a larger than
Because it's
the large
already damaged.
classification. Oh, okay, yes.
It's
Is it
probably
An extra 1d8.
Yeah.
okay.
So, oh, I was only a 4.
Oh no.
So I hit it for
23.
10. Oh, there you go. Blat blat. Right in those flesh holes.
Blibbity blip.
Flesh holes.
Terrible
Flesh holes.
phrasing. All right. That is a good hit. So you fired 2 arrows, correct?
I did, yes.
All right. Your arrows thunk into the top of this thing's cranium. They kind of like stick out at weird angles, and it lets out this ear-piercing screech, but it does not let go of Diora, and it seems to clamp down harder. It wants its snack. And it clamps down even harder. You see it kind of like pull back. Bjorn, you wanted to grab on, but we're gonna wait until your turn in the initiative here. But
Well,
it starts to
yeah,
look
yeah.
like it's trying to pull back here. So Vera, you are up next.
I'm up next. Where is the so like where's like the main body of it?
It seems to be coming from the starboard side of the boat. and it seems to be snaking down and kind of angled to the aft from that corner of the. You guys are at the center front of that balcony area, and then when you come out those doors and turn right, you're kind of all single file almost on that balcony there. It's only a 5-foot wide balcony. And you're all just kind of lined up there, and it's on that corner on the starboard side, and it angles down into
It's only a
to the
5-foot wide balcony.
It's hold on, let me scroll in on that. I might be reading that wrong. Apologies, 10 feet wide. It's about 10 feet wide.
Okay. I mean,
My apologies. I'm looking
still
at the
pretty
grid. I was
small,
zoomed
though.
out, so the grid looked different on my screen.
Okay. I guess I will. I'm gonna go to that edge.
Okay.
So is that where Diora is?
That's where she's hanging on to the like corner banister piece. And let me just clarify again really quick, just so that I make sure that I'm not misspeaking. It's 10 feet like in thickness, but the whole balcony itself, you can see wraps, if you guys look on the map, for those of you who have the map available, it
Right,
wraps
yeah.
around the royal living area. And that is actually like
It's much larger. Yeah.
it's like 20 feet long on either side and then like 30 feet wide. And then the thickness of it is about 10 feet roughly. So yeah,
Alright.
it's still pretty big. But yes, okay, you go to that corner.
Yeah, I go to that corner. Am I within 30 feet of like the main body?
When you look quickly down over the banister there, you can see this entire neck is snaking down, 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 and then it reaches the nearest cable. And
Okay.
it goes to the main deck, and then it wraps down underneath the hull of the ship from what you can see. This
my God.
thing is fucking long.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, then that makes the thing I wanted to do not do. So I will just cast Toll the Dead. I hold up Flew Like a Bell and go ding. And he goes
Okay, and can you remind me of Toll the Dead
save.
again?
Wisdom saving throw 2d12 since I'm level 5 now if they're injured. On a wisdom saving throw. Nothing.
Okay. On a wisdom saving throw, nothing, so it's going to resist. And you said it was a 14 saving throw? 15, sorry.
15.
My bad. All right. It
was 14.
Okay.
Now it's 15.
Beautiful. It rolls a 6, but it has a +9 to its wisdom saving throws.
What?
Yes. So it
Because
resists.
it's all about those brain powers.
Yes.
Can it speak then? Because I sure hope it can.
Try and find out.
Wait a minute. What? That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
I'm looking at the sheet. Its saving throw has a +9. It's got a proficiency in wisdom saving throws.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Okay.
Yep.
Got
You
it.
thought it was like the total stat, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's just proficient in wisdom saving throws.
Gotcha.
I am sorry. It barely saves. So unfortunately.
Oh, no, I mean that's fine. I fucking...
All right.
I'm done.
All right. Next up is Tim.
Tim is going to recede slightly back into the room and stand between the princess and the ledge and just be ready.
Okay. Sounds good. So are you going to hold for any kind of trigger action or?
In the event that a tentacle pops up.
Yep.
Or headicle?
Yeah, that works too.
Mhm.
I didn't know we made our way to Japan.
I was waiting for something like that. All right. Cool. So are you just gonna like fireball it if something comes in, or like what are you readying for that?
I'm readying a lightning bolt.
Okay. Sounds badass. Next up, it is the Hydra's turn. and it is going to try and yank Diora off of the side and retreat. It rolls an 8, and she's going to resist that. And she rolls a 7. She loses her grip. Yeah, she loses her grip on the banister, and this thing rears back and just snakes out from the side of the ship like 20 feet, and you see Diora just dangling there, and she's screaming, and Merrick is just beside himself right now. He's, oh my god, and he just kind of like crumples down to the ground for a second. Next up is Bjorn.
I'm jumping
Oh, for fuck's sake.
to hang on to the goddamn tentacle.
How did I know that was gonna happen?
Oh, if you miss this roll.
That's a 20-foot gap. Alright.
Here we go. What would be my modifier?
Well,
Athletics? Because I sure got them good athletics. I have a +7 to athletics, my friend.
Fucking bravery. That's what it should be.
Ha! No thoughts.
Balls of steel.
Honestly, this is exactly what Diora would do, so I'm just...
Bjorn gets a feat. Balls
sorry,
of
what's your
steel.
strength again?
My strength is 18.
Okay.
So I have a
I've got
+4.
balls of steel.
My athletics is
I love
+7.
Duke Nukem.
I mean, it is kind of arcing out at an angle, so you might not be able to reach the top of it.
I just want to be on it. My intention is to be on it when it
Yeah.
retreats into the hole, so I can follow it.
Paul's dying inside right now.
I know, this is very, very... There's a reason why I'm saying
All right.
That
So,
tentacle from Japan. I need to be on it.
oh my god.
Okay.
All right, so you. All right, my goodness, you're gonna have to roll pretty high for this. I will let you use your acrobatics modifier.
My acrobatics or my athletics? This is really important because my athletics is a +7 and my acrobatics is a
Oh,
+2.
sorry, I heard you say the +7 to acrobatics. Sorry, use your athletics.
Athletics. Okay.
Because Bjorn's a strong boy. So you're gonna just basically yeet off the side of this ship.
Eat yourself.
All right.
18 and
Yes.
+7.
Yes. Perfect. That is enough.
I'm so glad I didn't kill my own character.
You.
Right? Like, bye, Bjorn.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
I know, right? Fine. Someone just
I
cast,
can't reach
someone
you with
cast...
Featherfall from there.
So you launch yourself. You kind of step back about 10 feet or so, and then you just, and then 1 foot off the top of the railing, leap out into the open air, and
As I'm running, someone draw the freaking monster or write it down. Whoosh.
and
So, Bjorn's midair. It's false Hydra. We figured that out already.
Write it down.
all right,
Send it to Bennington. Oh wait, I have the ball.
still sailing through the air. All right, so you launch off of this, and as you're in midair, you look down, and you're like thousands of feet off the ground. What is going
fine.
through your
Thor
mind?
will this is what's going through my eyes. This is fine. Thor will protect me.
All right,
Yarr.
and you smack dab onto the neck of this thing with a poof, and wrap your arms around it, and this thing kind of retracts back a little bit more and screams again.
Someone shoot it.
As it screams again, it starts to let loose of Diora. Arthur, it is now your turn.
She gonna fall.
Do you have Featherfall? Because that would be great.
Wouldn't it though?
I think he does.
Yeah. Who's Dior again?
Merrick's
The
wife, the auntie
wife.
of the princess.
So not the princess, right? Okay.
Oh my
So
god, if this was
largely-
the princess, this would be horrible.
So largely irrelevant is what she is compared to Bjorn.
Yeah. compared to other people who are also.
I am fine. I am
tall.
a strong man.
So this is
Featherfall
I'm
can
going through
use-
this in my own mind, but these are Arthur's thoughts as this is all happening in front of him. And he's like, Bjorn just jumped off the ship for some lady who we're not even here to protect. I can only cast Featherfall once. So I gotta choose between trying to protect
But it can work
a
on 5
relevant
creatures.
auntie. Can I cast it on multiple people at the same time?
Yeah.
Yep. 5
Five
falling creatures
creatures.
within 60 feet
They're
range.
not falling though, they're holding on to something.
Mm.
They
They're not
sure.
falling.
Could be falling.
She will be falling soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's up to Ken then. I can cast it on them, but they're not technically falling, so I don't know if it won't work.
Mm.
It says choose the 5 falling creatures within range. If they're being held on to something, they're not falling.
I mean, you could just hold on to your action until one of us is falling.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
and
what I
then
was gonna
trigger
mention.
it.
Well, so wait, hang on. This is a bonus action. What is Featherfall? An action?
It is a
An action, right?
it's a
Oh, it's a
reaction.
Yeah.
So if I use a reaction, I can't have a bonus action? No, I
your
can't still, right?
reaction is like you get 1 per round,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do it at any time. It's a reaction.
So you,
Okay,
like
so I still
if
have a
it's someone
bonus and an
else's
action then.
someone else's turn, you can be like, I'm gonna use my reaction this round and do this.
So you
Yeah, I
really
was
don't
actually
have to
gonna cast
decide right
Featherfall.
now.
Yeah, you
I was
technically
actually
already
gonna
are
cast Featherfall on
triggering.
Bjorn. That's why I asked where he was jumping to specifically. Okay, so he's gonna run up to the railing.
Okay.
He's gonna look over and just go, huh. And then he's going to cast Bardic
Alrighty.
Inspiration on Bjorn.
Okay.
Thank you.
He's gonna yell down, "You're doing a great job!"
Bjorn's
You
own
would
words.
appreciate it, as I'm like
Yeah.
hanging on.
Wonderful.
So you have Bardic Inspiration. Then also, because that is a bonus action,
Mm-hmm.
let me just mark this. Okay. Then I'm gonna look at the big thingy, big slimy thing,
Yep.
the Hydra,
Yep.
and I'm just gonna go, gross! I'm gonna vicious mock.
What a mockery.
I love.
Right?
All right, and it
It's like
needs
it's
to. Was it Wisdom for vicious mockery?
Yeah.
And that's a 15, I believe, for you as well. Okay.
Cool shiver.
Here's hoping it rolls low. It rolls a 13 total. All right.
So we'll have
It's sad.
disadvantage,
Yes.
and let me roll the damage that it takes.
Before you do that, let me just read here. Sorry. Kate, disregard. I was just double checking to see if it was immune to that type of damage, but it's not.
Oh, yeah, it's psychic damage, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's vulnerable to it. So go ahead.
So I think I roll 2d4 now. At least that's what it says on D&D Beyond because of my level. So
Okay.
but it only takes 2 damage. I rolled 2 ones.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
Beautiful.
helping.
Arthur's gonna leave room on the railing for anyone else to do anything. So whatever that means, where I have to move.
Just kind of scoot off to the right a bit, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
gonna make sure that whoever comes next has room to do whatever they're gonna do.
I imagine during this fight, Arthur's just leaning over the railing, going, "Gross! You're doing a good job."
He gave Bjorn a thumbs up, and then he just kind of like leaning against the railing and just kind of
Yeah.
watching.
All right, Tarvok, you're up again.
All right. Well, I'm mad that it didn't let go, so I'm going to try shooting it again.
Okay.
I'm going to be aiming for the slit of its nose this time.
Okay, I'm gonna just to verify for you guys. Bjorn has landed fairly high up on the neck. I'm gonna say about 3 or 4 feet lower than its head.
Please be careful. But I trust you.
Bjorn, don't worry. I very rarely miss, but if I miss, well, you're a good lad.
I enjoyed our adventures together.
I will have some more. Don't worry. So I just take the first shot and just
Like yelling this back and forth.
Yeah, just it's all
fly
good.
it and see if I can make it pick its nose.
Okay, go ahead and try and pick its nose from a distance. Bolus archery and long range nose picking. It's what Tarvok does.
I hope that this thing is still
I rolled a 10, so it's 18.
You hit.
Oh, thank God.
Woo.
I don't know if killing it's really a good idea, but
2 plus 3 for the first one, so I hit it for 5.
Okay.
But I get Colossus Slayer, so that was a 6, so I hit for 11.
Okay.
My second attack. Then
Do all of our damage for us.
Tarvok's a fucking beast.
I'm gonna try and I kind of want to Robin Hood this one, and kind of pierce it and have the other arrow tip pierce its brain or some shit. I don't know.
All right. Go ahead and roll to hit.
All right.
You're gonna have to basically crit to make that happen.
I got a 15 plus 8, so 23.
All right, your arrow hits, but it doesn't Robin Hood your other arrow, unfortunately.
That's okay. That's
okay.
So D8, 1 plus 3, so I hit for an extra 4.
All right. So you do a total of 19 damage to this thing.
Blah.
Blah. All right. Next up is Vera. You are up close to the railing still, I believe.
Yeah.
And this thing is about 20 feet out from you. So is Bjorn and Diora.
thumbs up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't really do anything about that.
Don't worry. My plan is to have him retract into the hiding spot, and then I will be there in his hiding spot. To kill him.
Can I?
It's a stupid idea.
Then it wouldn't be a hiding spot if you're in there with it.
Exactly.
It'd be a fort.
I don't. So, I want to. I guess. It's. Wait, how far away is it?
About 20 feet out to the head. If you look down and kind of down its angle, it does slowly come back into the ship where it's gripping on the side of the ship.
Yeah, there's not really much I can do, unfortunately. Fuck. Okay. I'm just gonna. I'll take
notes.
Eco
Right.
and turn him into a bow, and then put Flu in the knock him, and then cast Melf's acid arrow.
Shit!
Into the air, you're gonna lose your slime.
What? No, it's fine. It's I don't let go of him. I just cast the arrow from him.
Oh, that's just the
He
motion
doesn't-
you use.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like
That's
he
really cool.
generates an acid arrow as I'm pulling it back.
Crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I couldn't shoot him out.
Just
into
launches the
space.
slime.
Yeah.
Like,
We had a good run.
All
we had a
right.
good time.
That's a cool mechanism of casting a spell. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Slimes are fun.
All right. Tell me
That's
what this arrow does.
15 plus 4 to hit.
It hits.
Yes. And then so if it hits, it does 44 damage and 2d4 on the next turn.
Holy fuck! 44 damage? What is this spell?
4.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I heard you wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, automatic 40. What is this? A fucking
I thought
level
you said
7 spell?
44. I'm like, wow.
So that's
You're telling me I'm doing all the damage. Liar.
10. So that's 10 damage this turn. And then next turn, another 6.
Okay. Nice
It
hit.
will happen. The next one will happen when it starts.
Its next turn. Okay. Tim, you're up, buddy.
At the end of its next turn, sorry.
Okay. It needs time to burn.
Yeah.
Tim, you're muted, buddy.
Just gonna hold the turn. He's waiting.
Okay.
On the ready.
All right. That means it is the Hydra's turn.
Okay.
All right. So the Hydra that you are on, it starts to scream again. And as it does, it kind of lets go of Diora's leg. And she's like you're about 3 feet, 4 feet from the head. So she's kind of dangling there almost eye to eye with you.
I can't reach, can I?
You can reach her. She is about to drop. I will give you, like, if you want to use your reaction, you can try and catch her. Okay.
This is really gonna suck.
All right. She's looking at you too. She's screaming and looking at you, this like 60-year-old lady, and she like reaches kind of towards you. So roll me a dex check to try and grab onto her as she drops.
Or please help me now if you've ever helped me before.
Listen, she's a little bit older. She's gonna have like that speed bag arm fat.
Oh.
So just grab her by the head.
Ouch! That would hurt.
Just let her fly down to safety.
17. That's it with my modifier.
You feel your hand slipping up her arm from her elbow, and as it gets closer to her thumb, you finally grab hold.
Ah, don't do that to me. God.
And she swings down as your shoulder just screams in pain. You can feel the fiery pain of your shoulder almost wanting to pull out of your socket as like 120-pound lady, 120-pound lady just yanks down on your arm at almost full force. And I want to make you do a strength check, but Bjorn's a fucking beast, so I'm gonna say that you've held on. You have held on to her, and she's just dangling by one hand, and she kind of reaches up with her other one and grabs your wrist. And you've got a hold of her at this point in your reaction. Good catch. Think fast.
No, don't
All right.
think fast. Stop that. This is very stressful for me right now.
Now it's the Hydra's turn. It's kind of like let go of her, and give me 1 second here. Tarvok and Tim, I think you guys are the furthest back in terms of balcony and room, correct?
Makes
I'm
sense. Tim's
basically
kind of
just-
the balcony and the princess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm basically like over the balcony.
Okay. Merrick has been in a pile on the ground near that door that he first came through. Tim, you still have eyes on him. And Tarvok, he's basically like he's about 10-20 feet behind you almost. You guys don't notice as a second head reaches up on the other side of the balcony and clamps down on top of Merrick's head and is holding on to him. It doesn't kill him right away, but you suddenly Tim, you notice this thing suddenly come out of nowhere and just like latch down and like almost envelop his head, and he's holding on to its neck, and it's gonna try and pull him back as well. And it's not doing very well. It seems to have a little bit of a throat bubble or something, so it's not able to really yank him back yet, but it's got a hold of him. It is now Bjorn's turn. You are holding on to a 120-pound lady. You are grabbed onto this false Hydra's neck out in the middle of the air, thousands of feet above the ground.
What
you
are
want
you
to
gonna
do?
do
What am I
there?
gonna fucking do?
Yeah, didn't think that one through, did you?
When has Bjorn ever thought anything through?
True.
So I'm torn between calling spiritual weapon to attack the Hydra's head
Okay.
on our poor boy, or pull her up. Which one does the girl need?
Well, you probably can't see.
Yeah, I don't think you've seen Merrick's situation yet. You got a bunch of people. Yeah.
Okay, I can't react to that situation. Thumbs up. I'm gonna
Okay.
pull this poor lady and try to get her on it or on top of me or just somewhere where she's not gonna rip my fucking arm off.
Okay.
I need that.
Yeah. Okay.
I need my arms.
Roll me a quick strength check to try and kind of hoist her up backpack style onto you, I guess.
So what does Bardic Inspiration do
It gives you an extra d6.
to my roll?
I believe it's to any roll that you want to attempt, any ability roll.
and you can use it after you already know the value of the roll.
Okay.
which is nice.
Well, so I'll save it. I was gonna say I'll show you both of them, but 14 plus 4, so I got 18.
All right. Your arm is sore as hell, but you managed to like grunt her up onto your shoulder, and she kind of wraps her arms around you and then hooks her ankles around your waist, and she is very much your jetpack at this point.
Sweet. And now I'm holding on for dear life right
Okay.
now, right?
Yes.
Like I have both arms now, just like.
Yep. You are secured on the neck of this thing, which is not very happy with you being secured on the neck of this thing.
You know what? That's totally okay
All right.
for now.
Arthur, you're up, buddy.
Princess is still in the room with us, right?
Correct. And she is kind of hiding in the corner, wondering what the hell is going on out there after all the
Is
screaming.
the rug with her?
Behind him.
Yeah, the rug's with her. She's hiding kind of in the corner of her little bed area, and Tim's kind of standing in front of her, looking out towards the balcony. And the rug's just kind of like corners out, like almost barrier with her.
Protect her.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
What a rug.
How many minutes does it take to fall 120 feet?
Does not
120?
take minutes.
Seconds? Okay.
It's very fast.
Do not
Very
jump over
important
here.
question.
I swear to God,
So-
I'll catch you too.
So Arthur standing at the railing. It's kind of like with his hand on the railing, just kind of like watching a bird. What's below us?
If you were to jump off the railing there, you could immediately hit the main deck about 15 feet out, but like they are basically out over open air right now.
Okay,
You're
is
telling
it
me
land,
there's a deck
ocean,
and I can jump to it?
city?
Somewhat, yeah. It's pretty far down though.
That's fine.
Yeah, if you look at
Closer than
It's
1,000.
ocean, Max.
yeah, it's definitely a lot safer than
It's
dropping
ocean.
into the ocean. Sorry, it's about 10, 12 feet wide there, maybe 10. And yeah, from like the edge of the balcony that you guys were on, there is the main deck below for about 10 feet out before it's just sheer side of the boat.
Oh, so I have a question. It is humanly possible for Bjorn to jump to the deck below.
It's possible to get hurt, but yep.
If Arthur casts Featherfall as I jump to the deck, it won't kill. I'm asking as in like,
Yeah.
will it still cause damage or will Featherfall
Oh no.
stop?
No, it's only gonna be like a 30-foot drop, I would say, from where you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Arthur, what do you want to do, buddy?
Okay, so Arthur contemplates the problem. He starts putting it together in his mind. The whole reason we're here is protect the princess, and now there's some horrible thing on the ship. The princess isn't safe. So if you add those things together, the princess needs to get off the ship. So he turns around and he runs over to the princess and the rug, and he grabs them both, scoops them up, just bear hugs,
Okay.
and he sprints to the railing and he leaps off. And he
Oh
falls
shit!
a few seconds.
Taking it with him. Tim's
falls
just
a
like,
few- he falls a few seconds and he casts Featherfall on the rug, himself, and the princess. And then he's going. Oh, as he runs past Tim back the other way, he yells, "Don't forget to get a lifeboat!" And then he leaps off, like to come get him in the water below later.
You just
Alright.
took the princess off the ship!
You just took the princess on a non-consensual skydiving trip.
Hell
Yep. So Hydra
yeah!
bad,
Kind of skydiving trip.
better odds in the water.
"Ooh, that-
Hopefully.
that'll go well in court."
I'm going to
So-
scream at Arthur as he yells.
Yeah, he says to
Out
get a
there.
lifeboat, and he jumps and he leaps.
Tarvok's paying attention to the Hydra, but he sees Arthur.
he
Sorry,
also
is that-
yells, "I'm sorry" to like any guards that might be near.
Was that the original plan? Am I drunk? I know the last 2 days have been weird, but
Oh my
okay.
dear fucking lord.
I love this.
And he's like reassuring the princess as they fall. Like he's got the rug wrapped around the princess, and like he's trying to like protect her from anything that happens, and so she can't see what's going on. And Arthur's just kind of like falling, like his back down, looking at the ship get farther and farther away. And then he casts Feather Fall, so he has time to slow down and hit the water at a normal speed.
Okay.
And then he just kind of floats there with the princess. Eventually, I don't know how long it, turns 3 seconds.
You fall for a long time. You guys are thousands of feet above the air. In the air. Like, you're cruising altitude, man. That is a full-on fucking skydive.
To the nearest land, like swim through the air.
Yeah, well, I think Feather Fall.
It lasts for a minute.
I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it
So he
lasts
tries
for a
to
minute.
time it so that minute he doesn't, use it
Yeah.
too early, so he hits the ground at terminal velocity.
Checking
He is
your
gonna try
altimeter
and
on your
blind
wrist.
himself. Yeah, he's like, all right, 2 more seconds.
Oh
He's got his
my
iconic
god.
mask on. Fucking Arthur just
Yeah.
Halo jump.
Halo jumping, yeah.
He is looking for land, or
Holy.
if there is any other ship below, like it just by chance.
Okay, let me check my mapping here. Give me a quick second.
All right.
I need my sextant and I need my compass.
I gotta check all the fucking routes of the ships and make
Yeah, I was
You're in
looking at
restricted
the
airspace,
cargo
Arthur.
route.
Stars.
Okay,
Can
but
I
first of
radio
all,
for, approval.
yeah. This is unit ARTHUR 459er. Coming in at a bearing of 300 knots. Okay.
Precious cargo on board. Need immediate landing clearance.
Coming in hot.
We got bogeys on our tail. All right. Arthur, take a point of inspiration for that. That was fucked up.
That was fucked.
You literally kidnapped a princess and took her skydiving against her
I mean,
will.
it's for the good of the princess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well done.
But Jesus Christ.
Way to split the party in the longest fucking way possible.
You guys
Now
are
tuning
just
back to
party
Arthur,
like
who's
1,000.
currently 1,000 miles behind us.
Yep. All right, Arthur, you cast Featherfall. You kind of time it in your head, and you see the ground start to rush up really fast before you fall for a good amount of time. Like, I'd say about 12,000
Really
feet.
good. A good 6 or 7 seconds.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. You guys are
What?
high up. Don't ask me.
12,000. Wait, 12,000 feet? Really?
Yeah, I know altitude. Blah blah blah. There's systems in place up there.
Fantasy world.
Yes.
Suspend
Suspend the reality for a second here.
Suspend your disbelief on.
Yeah.
It is an airship being
I
high
just
in the
didn't.
air.
I just didn't think like a fucking zeppelin would be like 12,000 feet.
This is
plus
a
in the
royal
air.
fucking dirigible,
Oh,
okay?
it's a royal.
This is alchemy, not high. Not this is alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there for a reason. No. Anyways, so you guys, you fall for a long time, and she's like terrified on the way down, and she's got her face like buried in your chest as you have that carpet wrapped around both of you, and then after like maybe 10 seconds of falling, she starts to like peek her head out, and she sees like, holy crap, this is really cool. And you got like water streaming out of your eyes and like and your crown's flapping around in the wind.
Yeah, the crown's actually like a second behind him. Like it's like
It's got lag.
Yeah, it's like he's just
Fucking
as his
decent.
cheeks are being pulled back.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
And then she starts to like have fun with it, and then you just start to hear her like screaming with joy as you guys get closer and closer to the ground, and then she starts to get worried right before you cast your feather fall. And you guys just slow to a soft glide. And I'm looking at the mapping here. You guys were directly over the Sword Coast here. Just out of Daggerford. You guys were kind of coming back past Orlumbor. You see a small island out in the ocean there that you can probably angle yourself towards. And
Get on the carpet.
yeah. And you guys, you kind of like eventually like you kind of shift her in one arm, and you kind of take the carpet and make it almost like a parachute that you can direct yourself with.
Sorry,
And-
lad.
Yeah, okay, that works too.
So I'm like
You
pulling on the front of
I
it.
can show you the.
you are
Right.
basically Aladdin at this point.
Yeah.
You're
And
welcome. That this wouldn't happen if Bjorn wasn't a kleptomaniac, by the way, guys.
he's also from Agrabah. Like, come on.
Yeah, then he is from Agrabah.
You're welcome.
Anyways, so you eventually touch down very softly on a sandy beach, and when you do so, there's a small fishing shack nearby, and a couple of dwarven fishers. It seems to be a husband and wife. They come rushing out to you to come and protect you guys and see what the hell just happened.
They walk out screaming about sea turtles and the hair of their back, and why is the rum gone?
All right, back up to the ship. Well done, Arthur. Tarvok, you are at the railing. You've fired 4 arrows at this beast. You've been hitting it fucking hard. What do you want to do?
Scratch my head for a second. So what if the rest of us wanted to jump off the ship? Oh well.
Listen, Arthur knew that Tim was still there, so he didn't abandon you guys.
Oh yeah, Tim can cast Featherfall on it too.
So I knock an arrow, but before I let it go, I ask Bjorn, is it alright if I just have it again?
Yes, kill it.
Okay. So before I fire
Tim,
down,
get ready to cast Featherfall.
do I hear any of the commotion from behind me?
Yes, you do. You hear a muffled and like a dragging noise as this thing's trying to pull Merrick back over the edge itself.
All right, well then I'm going to turn around, notice that, and just, I guess, fire above where Merrick's, I don't know, bulge in this thing's mouth is. Sounds gross, but you know what I mean, right?
Yep, I do.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So you're gonna try and hit a safe spot on the neck, basically.
Yes. Gonna hit above the
Please.
bulge.
Quote.
All right.
All right, here we go.
It has been clipped.
17 plus 8, 25.
You
Nice.
definitely hit.
All right, here comes my first D8, which is a 7 plus 3 for 10, and then another D8 for Colossus Slayer, which was an 8, so that's 18.
Holy fuck, dude.
Second strike to see if I hit. Ooh. That is a nat 20.
Yeah.
About time I rolled one.
All right.
And then how do you
Roll
want me to
me-
do damage for that one?
Give me double damage on that, please. Roll once and then double it.
Don't suck. Don't suck. So 5 plus 3 is 8, so 16.
Wonderful.
Use double
Holy
the dice.
shit.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Okay.
13 then.
All right. Still, you did a total of 31 damage to this thing.
Yeah, I'm out so
Uh,
many arrows.
Holy shit. You fire your arrow at the neck of this other head, and it takes, like, each arrow hits the same spot, and it takes a massive chunk out of the side of this thing's neck. And it lets go of Merrick for a second and reels back, and it's kind of flopping sideways, trying to right itself, but the muscles on the one side of its neck just aren't helping. And it's bleeding pretty badly. It's got this, like, crazy, almost like a green glowy blood coming out of it. It's gnarly. Yeah.
Fun.
All right. Next up is Vera. What you got?
I suppose I will also turn around if I hear that.
Yep, sure.
Not much of a damage dealer other than the couple of spells I already cast, so I'll cast another arrow, acid arrow.
Okay.
And let's see if that hits.
Okay.
15?
It hits.
Woo! Alright. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
All the slimes make meat noises. That's Yeah, I got 2 4s and 2 1s. So 10.
10 total?
For the first. Yeah, for the first, and then at the end of its turn, another 4.
Okay. You hit with your acid arrow, and by the way, thank you for reminding me. I need to take off that extra 6 damage from earlier as well on the other side. Yeah, you hit like right next to where Tarbok's arrows took that chunk out, and it just like eats away the rest of what's going on that neck, and this thing starts to gurgle and thrash around, and it starts whipping its head back up in my head.
Oh, God.
back and forth. And as it's doing that, sorry. And as it's doing that, the flesh starts to tear away from the acid eating at it, and then on the last turn, it just like whips in towards the upper cabin there, and its whole head just tears off and goes sailing through the window into the royal quarters. Smashing through that window. Smashing. Well done. You have ripped a head off. And Merrick, you look down at him. He's pretty gouged up, like around the collarbone area where this thing was chomping down on him. He's bleeding fairly badly, but it doesn't seem to be an arterial bleed. He's covered in like saliva from this thing and just laying there. Yeah, he's not feeling too hot, but he'll be okay.
Good. We saved 2 people so far. Now I gotta save myself and this other lady.
Not to mention an entire ship.
I am focusing on the small things of life right now.
I also saved one.
Yeah, we saved 2. You saved the princess. We saved the guy, and the princess saved though, like extremely saved, forever. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, Tim, you're up.
Do I get to go? Thought I was after the snake.
That was Vera's turn.
Vera? Oh, my bad. I lied. My turn was pulled.
Tim's just gonna wait still and protect. I take it.
Protect what?
Go and try to pull Merrick out of the way, and as he's trying to pull him out of the way, he's gonna like be yelling at Merrick. Now might be a good time for that mech.
Interesting. All right.
Grab the fucking necklace.
Good stuff. You pull him in, and he's still pretty incoherent, but he heard what you said. He seems to like be mumbling to himself, like, "Where's Catalina? Catalina, where's she?"
Arthur's got her. Don't worry, she's safe. Tim's gonna reach down, grab his hand, and put it toward his neck.
Okay.
Like toward Merrick's neck.
Yep. And he just grips onto that talisman and holds it then. All right, so
has joined the battle.
Player 7 has entered the fun. All right, next up it's the Hydra's turn. Now having its one head out there, it's gonna try and get rid of the pests on its back. If you want to look at it that way. All right. It's gonna kind of launch its head towards the ship, but it rolls an 8 in strength, and it doesn't seem it seems to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god, underestimate. Jesus, it seems to underestimate the weight of a 6'4" man, including the weight of a small elderly woman, and it fails its little shove, and it almost like gently brings you closer towards the edge of the boat there. It doesn't have enough neck to curl back around and bite you, but you can see it kind of like gnashing down in your direction. That's it. That's its turn. It's your turn, Bjorn.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
How close?
It's moved you over the main deck. It's about a 30-foot drop.
How much damage would I take?
I think it's
That's meta.
1d4. Is it
That's,
one? No, it's
not
1d6
meta.
per
I'm
10
still
feet.
gonna
If you
do
don't,
it.
if you don't,
That's not meta.
no, it's 1d6. I think per 10 feet if you fail your
10
save.
feet.
Yeah.
But there is a maximum, I think, of 30 feet being the max.
Okay.
There's a 66.
All
can't remember
can
what the
say
max
is
is, but there is a max.
exclamation point leg.
I think the max is 120.
Okay. Well, either way, you got 30
30
feet.
isn't the
It's
max,
3d6 if you fail your save, and you're gonna have to do a pretty good dex save to land properly with someone on your back.
Leg meta.
Jumping.
All
To
right.
that main deck.
Okay. Roll me a total of 20 or higher dex save, please.
Oh.
It's tough one.
Would it be dex? Could it be athletics?
Nope. Dex.
Yeah.
Hi, Bjorn.
18 plus 2.
No shit.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit.
I didn't kill the
You do like a superhero landing, but
It's really
but
bad on the knees.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You feel suddenly like 100 years older as your legs just like vibrate as you hit the ground, and she's on your back, and you hear like a oof as the wind is knocked out of her when she kind of impacts against you, and your legs are just like shaking for a second, and you're in pain, but you're okay.
Oh, there's urine, all right.
You're gonna you're gonna feel that in the
I'm gonna
morning.
Start screaming, land the ship, as I am falling. Land the ship! Land the ship!
All right,
I was gonna keep repeating.
Arthur, you are down on the shore of this island. You're out of combat, so I'm gonna just kind of leave you to that, if that's okay.
For time's sake, yes.
For time's
otherwise I
sake,
could
yes.
Go on.
Yes, I believe it. Tarvok, you're up. Let's fucking slay this thing.
All right. I guess I'm just really pissed. It's got 6 of my arrows in it, and I want them back, and I know I'm not getting them.
That's the only reason.
So I'm going to. How enraged is this thing? Like, is its maw open at all?
It's fighting for its life at this point. It's heated up. It's 3rd level heated up.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna aim for the flesh sockets again,
Okay.
and hopefully take this sucker out. I keep putting my dice away because I keep thinking we're gonna kill it really quick. So here we go. To hit. That is a 7 plus 8 for 15.
Nice. Okay, it hits.
Okay, so 5 plus 3 for 8. And 2, so 10 for my first roll. My second arrow is a 19 plus 8,
Hits.
so 27.
Yep.
No, and a 6. Oh, plus 3, so 9.
19 total damage.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. Vera, you're up. Let me describe that a little bit for you. That was a weak moment of me. Tarvok, yes, your arrows strike just solidly in the neck below the chin, and you can start to see some more of that green ooze coming out. There you go. Sorry, Vera.
All right. Veer's gonna dig deep and fucking cast Mouse Acid Arrow at a 3rd level instead
Oh.
of 2nd.
Damn. Okay.
The bow gets a little bigger for ego.
Okay.
14 plus 4, so 18.
That hits.
That'll do it. All right, that is another D4 per.
That's 5d4 total.
5d4 and then 3d4 on the second.
Okay.
4 plus another. Oh my god, maths. So 12 on
Okay.
the first one was okay rolls.
Okay.
And 5 for the second.
Okay.
Wave.
17 total. Beauty.
I did some damage.
You've been doing a lot of
Nice.
damage. That's pretty good. All right. Your acid strikes again, kind of similar to the same area, maybe a bit lower than where Tarvok's hit, and it just starts to. You can see it just spread across the neck of this thing, the chest, the neck.
yeah.
I don't know, and it just starts to like eat into the flesh, starting to expose a bit of the fat and muscle underneath. Next up is Tim. You, last I recall, pulled Merrick in, put his hand on his neck, and told him to activate that mech. Merrick is holding on to this medallion, but he hasn't really done anything with it yet. But he seems to be fondling, like trying to like figure it out again.
So he hasn't done anything with the mech?
He hasn't like activated it yet, no. I believe in you.
Fucking blow that thing up.
Short responses, Paul.
Sorry. Hold on.
Oh, they're discussing some I guess mechanic. It's not meta. They're not meta gaming,
No,
but
no.
they're discussing a certain mechanic to make sure he's got it right.
Yeah. We're just going over
Oh,
what your
okay. Never
your
mind. I've been
modifications
right
to
then.
hit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely doing it right. It's just I get extra bonuses from my fighting style.
Okay, just checking. So that reaffirmed knowledge. Tim's just gonna look at Merrick and be like, "Just get it out!" And then he's gonna run to the edge of he's gonna poke over the railing and he's gonna try and cast lightning bolt on the head that he can see.
Okay, the last
Like-
head that you guys can see, yes. All right, go ahead and roll the
Hell
hit.
yeah.
Feel the dark side.
9.
9 total? In your rush to the banister, you lean over it to try and hit this thing with your spell. You kind of hit it a little too hard, like you at the waist, holding onto your cane, and as you lean over and cast your spell, you stumble a bit, and it just kind of goes arcing past and around it. It touches it just a little bit, but not enough to really. It's kind of like a little tickle as it skirts past this thing's neck area, and as you.
I mean, at least it looked pretty. That bolt is like 100 feet long and 5 foot wide.
Come in, and you as you run into that railing, you feel a very, very strange crunching sound or feeling coming from your hip area where your cane is. You look down, and the focus that you had placed into the top of the cane has a small crack down the center of it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Some bitch.
Some bitch. All right.
Wait, how
I
did that
can't do
happen?
anything else.
He ran into the railing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Hydra. It's gonna go for Tarvok, the guy that's been destroying it so far.
I can't help that. I'm a good shot.
I'm strong. What's it gonna do here? For a split second, you see its head almost retract into itself, like the neck almost kind of shrink down a bit.
Sure.
And then it suddenly shoots out towards you, Tarvok, and tries to bite you square on the shoulder.
Can I dex save?
Yeah, you can try.
Right,
One
so it's
second.
gonna
Let me
wanna-
roll the hit here first.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
Never good. So, 21 for a dex save.
Tarvok, you just barely don't make it out of the way.
Oh.
Ouch.
It clamps down onto your shoulder, and it's gonna roll 48 plus 2.
4d8?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty good.
Take 24 damage, please.
Oh,
Can I do math?
That's rough.
Did it ever
That
roll
is-
with disadvantage?
Uh,
I don't
it
think you ever had it
What-
attack anybody.
was it on its next attack or was it on its next turn that it had
Next
disadvantage? Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Let me pull back on
Oh, yeah,
that.
let me-
I'm gonna
let me
roll
make
its.
sure, but I'm pretty
I'm gonna
sure
roll
it
its
is.
other attack then,
The spirit
just
of
in case.
Arthur still lives with us.
I unleashed a string of insults. It was
Yes. Yes.
Gross.
Gross.
Saving throw. Disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn. Oh. Oh, well, it did an attack roll, though. I don't know what that means.
It's
clarify.
already attacked Merrick since then, though, from its other head.
does that count as an attack towards, like... Then it should have had disadvantage on that attack.
Right.
Unless you made it to where he was supposed to. Because he was prone
Well,
guy.
it used stealth to be able to get a surprise attack on him. So, I guess technically
normal.
it would have been normal, and he did hit. So, yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm sorry, Tarvok.
Whatever. Tarvok takes the bite in the shoulder, goes, "What's just a flesh wound?" He starts punching it.
All right.
Not use a reassuring Bjorn that I'll handle it, but
Let me.
Yay.
I just want to make sure it doesn't have any extra bonus actions here.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
It's got so many things in this list here. That's all.
I believe it. Pick your arrows up while you're
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have any bonus actions it can use right now. So that is its turn. It is now clamped down on your shoulder, and it has you grappled. The engulfed target, sorry, is
Bolus archery?
Must succeed on DC 20
Bolus.
Constitution. Okay. So at the start of
But
its
I'm
next
not-
turn, if
I'm
you're
not engulfed. It's only biting onto a shoulder, so I'm not like fully inside it.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay,
Does it?
but you are grappled. You're not engulfed. You are grappled.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hydra's done. Bjorn, you're up. You
So
are
we're
on the
not
main
fighting a
deck.
Purple worm, man. Ugh.
That's pretty fucking strong.
Yeah.
You guys have gotten lucky so far in terms of not getting hit, as you can tell.
Yeah.
gotten lucky just surviving with our brash stupidity.
Yep, that's the Ret-Con-Artists for you. All right, Bjorn, what do you want to do? Let's end this. It's getting late.
Okay. Can I still see it?
Yes. It's not singing right now. It has a dwarven man in its mouth.
Okay. I'm going to scream as loud as I can, land the ship
Okay.
as loud as I can while I, as a person, try to figure out something to do.
Okay.
How am I going to help him?
You do that, and you see a window open up from the bridge up above there, and you see Captain Shark Hunter Exo poke his head out and go, "What? Oh my god!"
Land the ship now, Captain! And while I'm doing that, let's see if I can see how fast, how far. How many feet is he away? 30 feet is how far I fell.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be about 30.
Well, its neck is actually close to the main deck on the side of the ship there.
Okay.
It's kind of coming down a bit. And I'd say at this point it's actually straight vertical. So it's pretty close to the boat all in all.
All right. If I do something like guiding bolt, it has to hit it, right? For its AC. That's what I'm rolling for. It doesn't roll against me, right?
I believe
Yeah.
so. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, because it counts as I don't use magical attacks, so I don't.
Yeah, guiding bolt is a spell attack.
Okay. So 14 to try and hit him
It hits.
with guiding. Yes. 4d6.
Damn.
Nice. And the next attack gets advantage.
That's pretty sick. That's a good spell.
It's pretty good for what it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 3, 4, 6, and 2. So 15.
Yup.
Yep. Very nice.
Kill it.
All right, you your guiding bolt, it's a flash of light. It just goes instantly sailing right through this thing. You see it pierce through the neck and then just continue on off into the distance, spraying green blood out behind it. And this thing recoils back again and comes down. It has legendary actions. It lets go of Tarvok here as it's recoiling back. And it's going to use one of its legendary action to come down and try and bite you, Bjorn.
Great!
Oh.
How good? Good for me! Okay. I have an 18 AC.
Does a 23 hit?
I thought this is the first time I've ever been hit.
She's so happy.
Wow.
All right,
I'm
that'll
so
be
happy.
48 plus 2.
Well, where's... Hopefully I don't die myself.
You know, I'm really glad I'm not getting bitten by this thing.
You want to taste
That makes
death?
2 of us.
Take 22 slashing damage, Bjorn, as this thing clamps down on your thigh and just like comes through the banister and latches onto you.
Not the thigh.
Sweet. I thought it was going to be more.
Oh yeah, that's not
Oh, no
fine.
biggie.
Fine.
That would
It's
have only
like more
killed
than-
2 other party
more than
members.
2/3 of my health.
Yeah.
I have 25 hit points left, so it's fine.
Holy fuck.
I have 34 left.
All right.
My sweet thighs.
Tiny but mighty.
All right. Arthur, you are up.
There's a reason I stand
Oh, sorry.
behind Bjorn.
Arthur's still down on the shores. I keep forgetting he's not there anymore. Tarvok, you're up again, buddy. You can't quite see the head of this thing anymore as it's arced down to the main deck. If you look down, you can kind of see it latched onto Bjorn, but it's kind of tough to get a shot there. You see the neck
I've
kind of
a-
curled around a bit.
Would
Can
it
I
be too hard to say that I like threw off the lady or the lady's not on me anymore?
I-
Since we landed
I would
in
say
turn?
that, yeah, since then she's
Okay.
kind of just hopped off of you.
Just wanted to know.
There's a
Okay.
retcon for this.
So, can I see where Bjorn's guiding bolt pierced through this thing?
Yes, you can see some blood kind of pouring out of the neck, kind of down towards the deck.
Okay, so that's where.
advantage.
Yes,
Okay, that's where I'm going to be aiming this time. I
with
wanna
advantage.
Try and sever it as much as I can.
Okay.
So-
Critical.
First one, 15 plus 8. So
Nice.
23.
You're gonna hit
Roll-
regardless,
roll the
but
second
roll the
one.
second.
Okay, so the second one is 8 plus 8, so 16.
All right, not a crit, but you hit on both of them for sure. So you hit.
8 plus 3 is 11, and
Okay.
then Colossus Slayer is another d8, which is a 7.
Woo.
So that's 18, and then my second attack is 8 plus 3 for 11.
Woo.
Yeah! That's the best roll I'll have all night.
You are aiming for that hole where there was a bloody light hole, correct?
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing is I'm aiming up from it as much as I can to try and like sever the flesh.
Yeah, okay. Tarvok, your arrow, your first arrow, strikes right next to that hole, creating a massive gash flapping open as this neck starts to kind of go off to the side. And as soon as you see like the trunk of a tree as it starts to fall like this, you see that sweet spot on the other side, and you just let your arrow go and it severs the rest of that neck. You just see sinew and blood spraying all over the place, and this neck, about like 15 feet length of this creature's neck, lets go, and you hear one, right before your second arrow is about through it, you hear one last attempt at a scream, and the neck just kind of flops down the side of the boat, and its jaw is locked on Bjorn's leg, and it starts pulling Bjorn. You've got 15 feet of hefty, thick hydra neck pulling you towards the side of the boat. I'm going to need you to roll me a strength check to either break free of the jaws or to just hold on for dear fuck.
16 plus 4?
Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't care which one, just make it sound cool. Whatever's the coolest, Bjorn did it.
Alright, let me think here.
If I manage to not die.
Bjorn, you don't have your hammer in hand, unfortunately.
No, I would not.
You
Would I have Ileana's axe?
No, you would
Probably
not.
not.
So this is...
I ran out to jump for that lady. I only have
Correct.
my bare hands.
Yes, and so you asked me to describe this for you. I'm going to describe it for you.
Don't kill him.
Your left leg gets pulled out as this thing starts yanking you off the side of the boat. You are sliding on your ass very quickly, and your instinct, as it's always been, is Bjorn Smash, and you just ball up a fist and start hammering the teeth on this thing over and over rapidly as fast as you can, and you start snapping off its 3-inch long teeth, and then they finally snap enough that you can wrench its head off of you right as you're sitting at the edge of that banister.
So I have a giant ass tooth
Punching
in
it
my
right in the fucking
thigh.
gums.
You got some teeth in your thighs,
Yes!
and
That
you
is so
have
cool.
broken them off.
Bjorn Thigh Tooth.
You are now Bjorn Thietooth Saxison.
Are you okay, Tarvok?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can I have one of those teeth as a souvenir?
There's 2 of them, so we both get to keep one.
It hurts to raise my arm.
Yeah, you're bleeding pretty bad out of your arm, Tarvok. You might
I
want to
can
tend to
heal
that
it.
soon. All right.
I can heal it too. It's fine.
Okay.
So,
I need to heal me.
to
Can I
close
lay
it-
back down? Oh, it's too much.
To close off for the night, you look down as you see this head flailing down into the abyss of the ocean, and then all of a sudden you just feel this shudder of the ship, and then a very bulbous looking gross body with 5 legs sticking out of it, almost like fins, but like razor sharp like mandible appendages sticking out of it for legs, and they seem to have let go of the bottom of the ship, and it just starts falling down to the ocean. And this time you do see a splash, and it's a big one. This thing was probably about... Arthur, you're looking up at the ship, and you see this mass just fall off the bottom of it, and it is tumbling through the air, and like the longer piece slaps the water with a little splash, and then the big like 30-foot in diameter body of this thing hits the water and creates this massive splash up into the air. And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Yay.
Oh. Rude.
Good job,
we almost
everyone.
died.
A couple of you almost died.
The closest I thought I was gonna kill Bjorn ever.
You leapt off a ship thousands of feet in the air.
I know.
Alright. Alright,
And then
so...
I leapt back.
and almost turned yourself into a cripple.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
So we're going to make this
Hell
short and
yeah.
sweet. As usual, We thank you guys so much for being here. We love you so much for supporting us through this and hopefully enjoying the stories that we're telling you guys. And we can't wait to see you guys all again next Tuesday for probably...
Yeah.
We'll see what happens at the end of this arc here. I'm thinking that's probably what we're going to have to do. And yeah. I don't know. Anyone else have anything you want to add before we kick out and let Alex finally sleep after being up for 20 hours, basically?
Oh, that's rough.
Same here.
Let's see. Josh has something fun in the works, so that's always cool.
Yes, we're looking for a time to do the mech RPG thing. Haven't quite nailed it down yet, but we'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll happen for sure.
Right? Ken and I are gonna do some more drunk streams. The next game on the list is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Watch Ken die.
At least for
So
part of
last
the stream.
time- Yeah. For the last time we started giving people money, or people started giving us, or Ken. Anyway, we got really drunk. Every time he dies, he'll have to take another shot.
Oh my.
What?
Was this agreed upon? I feel
No!
like that's not consensual.
Yeah, I just agreed to it.
With Paul, it's never
Yeah.
consensual.
I guess
Phrasing.
he's not wrong. I don't know. Anyway, that's really all I have planned, and I mean I'm only
Okay.
chilling out for Josh because I think it's a really fun idea. I like Gundam, so you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody else? No.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Indeed.
Again, if you have anything you want to ask us or you just want to hang out with us in general and come into our individual streams, many of us do stream, come by the Discord, find us on Twitter. You can find the Discord link in every podcast and YouTube video that we put out. Yeah, that's the best place. We are at Ret-Con-Artists TV on Twitter. Find us there. We love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Take care.
Be excellent to each other.
Get my teeth.
Thanks again for joining us for this week's episode. We can't wait to see you all next Tuesday. Take care.